Monday Night Football, baby. We're here.
Touchdown in 46 seconds. Punches back. Touchdown.
Back with more NFL fantasy football talk on DraftKings, specifically best ball on DK, with my guy Sacrilegious from Legendary Upside. Sac, what's going on, man?
Oh, we're just a little less than a month away from the season kicking off. Pretty excited. I think 4,000 drafts is in range now. I think we're like right around 37 or 3,800 right now. I think 4,000 is doable.
You're an absolute machine. I don't know how 4,000 is doable, even with the sidekick, which I know is amazing, and multi-tabling. It makes it so much easier to do multiple drafts in a row and everything like that, to do the slow drafts and everything. But still, it's just crazy. 4,000 is insane. What's the count right now? Where are you at?
I think I was a little over 3,700 when I last looked. Yeah, so
Okay.
closing in on 3,800. I think if
You're
we
gonna
get
there, dude.
if we get one more 150 max, I think that might do it. So,
all right. Well, good luck to you. We got a ton of stuff to talk about. I mean, there's injuries falling left and right. There's guys signing. I feel like since I left you last week, just so many things have happened. It's only been a week. Before we start talking about all this stuff, though, people in chat, I see Red asking which contest we're doing. I got my guy Raul. So I did enter $100 3 max. It is right now 7 of 12 on DraftKings. So if we can fill that, I'd love to draft in that. We're at 7 of 12 right now. If that's going to take a little bit though, then we'll do a 25 and wait for this thing to fill, because I'm gonna stay in this thing and maybe it'll fill halfway through. So if you guys want to get in, I am in the $100 right now. Like I said, we got 5 left to fill it. So if you want to draft on DraftKings in the $100 3 max on DK, great tournament too. 100K up top, 500K prize pool. You can get in that. And like I said, I think we are. Oh, we got another one in there. So we are now 8 of 12 there. So maybe that will fill, Sac. If not, though, in a minute, if we don't get like to 10 or 12 or something in a minute or two, then we'll jump into 25. But there we go. My guy Raul said entered. Good to have you in here. There were 2 things I wanted to ask before we get into the stuff. Do you remember? Because me and you were definitely 2 of the first people on the Charlie Kolar stuff. Who was the originator, though? Was it you or me? Because I can't remember. And Neil's like, you got to figure this out. Because
Neil let me know I needed to go find the receipts. I found in our Leg Up Rankings chat, I found mentions of Charlie Kolar when he first signed in March from me. And then I shared a screenshot with Neil. Let me go back and find it.
Because what I remember is I vaguely remember us bringing up the topic and you being like, he's a guy that I'm trying to talk to the team about. You were into it, but at that point you weren't clicking. But I know in June, Charlie Kolar was starting to be top guy in the 20th round.
And he was definitely, we were slamming him by June 11th because so I shared these messages with Neil. There are some that had like some proprietary sidekick related stuff in them that I couldn't send to him from May.
You're like blacking out the half the screen.
Yeah. So the May stuff looks like when we started being like, this guy's draftable in May.
Yeah.
And then June, the first message from June says, Kolar and Travis Hunter are the rock upon which I will build my church. and then on June 12th, there's Charlie Kolar, kind of nice with it. And then June 14th, I think Kolar is most likely the tight end 1 on the Chargers. Could easily be in a Cade Otton type role.
So I can't remember though. We definitely brought this up. So one of us, I think it was maybe it was a little bit of both of us, but you might have started the whole Charlie Kolar thing. Like the whole Charlie Kolar thing could have been you, Zach.
I think that we weren't talking about it super publicly until you and I on our first show together. We talked about Charlie Kolar, and you mentioned him as a reason to be wary on Aronde Gadsden on our
Yeah.
first show together.
Yeah.
And at that point, let me see if I can find the first share that I drafted of Charlie Kolar.
Oh yeah, because you have your the extension tool.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I'd be interested. I guarantee you it was at least by like June 1st or 2nd or something.
It was
like
probably on DK that he was my very first
because of the
one.
20th round stuff. I know for a fact it was popping up more.
Yeah, it looks like the very beginning of June. Oh my God, there's a wall of Charlie Kolar that just started slamming in at the beginning of June. We hammered it really hard, basically all through June. Then the start of July, it cooled off a little bit. We were like, let's just pump I think Pat noticed that I had like almost 20% Charlie Kolar, and he was like, that seems like a lot. So we slowed down.
Well,
but then as training camp started, looks like August 2nd, it's a flood of Kolar again. He starts flying back.
I vaguely remember you being like, I gotta convince Pat, pretty much is the I gotta talk
Yeah, it looks
to Pat
like
about
June 2nd is the first time. So it has to have been June 2nd, because prior to that he was undrafted on DraftKings.
Yeah.
So he had not been drafted on DraftKings.
Because I said to Neil yesterday, I'm like, Neil, I'm not sure who said it first, but I'm pretty sure that one of us started this whole Charlie Kolar thing. And Zach definitely started it like with the kick, obviously. Like you started it with the kick, because without you, like it might have been a while before they put you were the one that started it on the team.
I don't think we talked about it publicly though, until you were the one that I believe first said his name on our show. I can see here Charlie Kolar has and now the way DraftKings ADP works is it doesn't take very much for a guy to move from 240.0 to have any ADP at all, right? It's pretty sensitive. So Charlie Kolar, all the way from when contests opened on DK, had an ADP of 240. Then on June 1st, his ADP is still 240. Then June 2nd, he has his first ADP and it's 232.6. So all of a sudden, someone was drafting a bunch of Charlie Kolar in the final round.
Somebody, you mean every kick user was clicking Charlie Kolar in the last round, aka Sack and Shady.
Yeah, I could also go back and find like the actual sim versions and see which one had Charlie Kolar have like a large increase.
I said it to Neil though. I said Sack will tell the truth. Sack will definitely tell the truth. So if I'm not the one that brought it up first, Sack will tell me
I'm pretty sure that you're the one that said Charlie Kolar first on our show though. Like I don't think I was.
I know I said Charlie Kolar is the number one and he's going to affect Rondé Gadsden more than people. I know I said that.
Yeah.
I just couldn't remember. I'm pretty sure your response was, I agree with you, but I gotta but no, what you said is like your thing where you're like, he's someone we're keeping an eye on. I'm like trying to talk to the team about, pretty much was your, cause that's kind of what you say when there's a guy like it's like a watch list thing, right?
Like Cyrus Allen. When you first brought up Cyrus Allen, that was when we were, I think like right around that time, we had messages in the rankings chat where it's like, do we need to move on Cyrus Allen? Like, what's the...
By the way, we're 11 of 12, I think. 3. Yeah, one more spot left in this $100 3 max. If anyone wants to get in on DK, one more spot to go to fill this thing and get it rolling here. So if you want to enter $100 on DraftKings, 3 entry max, get in there. But yeah, no, it was just funny. Bang, we're filled. Look at that.
Nice little family and friends.
Look at that. All right, let's pull this up here on DraftKings. All right, now I don't feel crazy, because when Neil was asking me, I was like, I'm not really sure.
We were side by side in the in the Great Kolar Wars.
Yep. All right. Good. Now I could say me and Sack were the first people on the Kolar Bear.
You know what's really funny is when I go back and search the Leg Up Rankings chat for it, the very first time anyone says anything about Charlie Kolar was actually September of last year on a showdown slate for the Ravens. And I said, I need a Charlie Kolar TD, boys. I think
did you get one?
I did not. I was binking unduped for like, this was in September, so it was probably a milli, or something pretty hefty. And Charlie did not come through for me. But yeah, it looks like May 11th is when Charlie Kolar first made an appearance that was like maybe could have come up one out of every 1,000 or 100 sims or something with the inputs that it looks like we talked about. May 11th was when he like had a fledgling input in the sims, and then it does look like he finally cracked in on June 2nd. So
some people will be like, why the hell you guys care about who talked about Charlie Kolar first? It's because he was a very, like, in the beginning, people forget this, but it was a very, like, hot topic with people because people were very against it. Like,
people still, dude, there are people that still don't believe it.
Yeah,
they're in for a rude awakening,
Yeah. Yeah, there are people that still don't believe it. But all right, we are picking out of the 8-hole here in the $100 3 max over on DraftKings. I do see a few familiar faces here. Sports fan in the 6-hole. We got my boy Raul in the 7-hole. If you're in this draft with us and you got in, let me know where you're picking from. And we can check out your team as we go. Let's see. My first message in the RPS Discord about Charlie Kolar was August 2023. Yes. Yeah, your first message. No shit, you're a Ravens fan, so I'm sure it was. I'm sure you were the only person talking about Charlie Kolar in 2023. You might have started the fan club, Easy Money.
Yeah, the Pat was mentioning, he's like, yeah, when I go back and look at, because he had Charlie Kolar in his prospect model for when he came out as a rookie, he's like, I had Charlie Kolar as like a 2nd-round dynasty pick. Like, I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah, that's the funniest part is when you go back and look at like what he did in college, you'd be like, oh, he's pretty good. Like, he was pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't bad. People just forget it because then he sat on the depth chart behind, 2 good tight ends. And they're like, oh, okay, maybe he's not that great. Justin Jefferson goes at 6 here. Christian McCaffrey. Oh, baby. Let us do it right here.
Take Amon-Ra here.
I think so, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. My Amon-Ra is just low because I haven't gotten a lot of the draft slots that he goes in. So I'm always excited to get him.
I did a thing. You know what I did? I pushed Amon-Ra ahead of JSN. I said, you know what? Screw it. I want more Amon-Ra. I'm just doing it. I don't care. I'm not going to push him ahead of Puka, but I pushed him ahead of JSN. I was like, I'm leaning into the Lions. Just give me all the Lions, Zach.
I don't think I haven't gotten him on a single high stakes team yet. And I think I'm like 25 or like close to 25 555s and like 10 big dogs. And then, got the like random $100 and 250s and things like that in there. And none of them I've gotten Amon-Ra on them. So I think I may just have to take matters into my own hands here. And if I get something where I'm like out of the 6th spot or whatever, I'll just take Amon-Ra there.
Yeah, you got to get an Amon-Ra. You got to get at least one Amon-Ra.
Yeah, no, I do not want to have 0 Amon-Ra on my high stakes teams. That is not the plan,
So we're almost up here. Interesting. The kicks got Saquon up top. Achane goes at the turn. The turn goes Genty Achane, Kenneth Walker, Chase Brown. Let's see what Asian does here. Man, you know who I'm starting to like. What are we doing with Hampton? Do you move it all? Like, honestly, the comments make me want to draft him more. The coach comments.
Yeah, we don't take a ton of him. We just thought he was a little overvalued. IKBing to Brock Bowers is always fine by me. That's like, people want to always ask, like, do you ever IKB on the sidekick? It's like, if I ever do, it's because I just want to feel something and I IKB to Brock Bowers.
Yeah,
Like that's
you're you're doing it for the cool picks, okay? And Brock Bowers is a cool pick, okay? I don't care what anyone says.
for me.
Brock Bowers is fun.
It's like almost exclude. If I'm gonna IKB for anything that's not like I'm reading the room in a high stakes room or something like that, or like pushing a guy that I know I can get later in a room. And like a lot of the time, I'm doing too many drafts at once to be able to do that. So it's like, nope, I
Right.
just never IKB. But Bowers is like my one guilty pleasure where sometimes I'll IKB onto a little Brock Bowers. It has led me to be a little lighter on Devon Chan and AJ Brown than I really want to be, because those are usually the guys that would be over him when it's
Yep.
like a reasonable spot to take him, but he's not top guy. So I've honestly tried to slow down on my IK being to Bowers lately because I don't want to fade AJ Brown or Devon Chan. So
No, I think if I had to fade one though, if you had to fade one of AJ Brown, Chan, who would you pick if you had to fade one?
could I give a honorary third answer and just say I'd rather fade neither of them and fade Amari and Hampton to tie
Well,
it
yeah,
back
you could
into.
do that actually. Yeah, you could do
Yeah,
that.
that's
That's
what I
fair.
would do. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Hampton is going to be good on the non PPR side. I think he's going to be good on underdog or like the half. The PPR sites though, like it's so hard not to like click like an Chan, a Chase Brown. I think Kenny Walker is going to be supremely involved. The only thing that worries me about like the Hampton stuff is he might just run so pure on
Oh,
touchdowns.
he could get 20 touchdowns.
Yeah,
So I'm
he could
not
just run so pure on touchdowns.
like we're not really. I'll pull up how much Hampton.
He's gonna just in this scheme, like all those like outside zones, like he's gonna truck some of these safeties in corners and some of the guys that are gonna have to try and tackle him and stuff. You see him in practice already, just like trucking guys. It's like, man, he's gonna do this a lot this year.
Yeah, I have like 5% Hampton. So it's not a huge fade, but definitely,
I
underweight.
I think I would pick AJ. I'm
I
with Ty Claiborne here.
I was telling the rankings team, I literally woke up from like a bad dream the other night, and my dream was that AJ Brown had like the Randy Moss season, and I didn't have enough of him. And I was like, dude, I'm way too deep in it when I'm dreaming about AJ Brown having the Randy Moss
When you're
season.
dreaming about AJ Brown being Randy Moss, yes, you're too deep. You're too deep in the weeds at that
Yeah,
point.
that was a wake up call.
This question here from Logan says, "Do y'all like Nico a lot more now?" I mean, Nico in the third round is insane. I'll say that. Like, especially now with the injury, I thought Nico in the third round, the beginning of the third round, prior to this injury, made a little bit more sense. But Jaden Higgins out, I think it just makes me more bullish on Nico Collins.
Yeah, we let's see.
Let's see what the kick says here. So Zay Flowers sticks at the top. Yeah, we can do.
Yeah,
We can
I'm
do
very
Zay.
happy with Flowers here. A lot of the like good running backs that I like end up going in the fourth now. Just some of them
Well,
sliding.
yeah, the third round is like it's never a spot to click running back. Like I know Love is a third round pick,
But
but
he'll fall to the fourth sometimes, and so will
ex-
Brees now. And
exactly. So it's kind of tough to click those guys in the third round. In the third round now.
yeah, I've got around 12% Nico on DK, so like we were a little overweight there. He's one where we looked at him when we did our rankings call today to see if there was anywhere we could really come up, and we didn't think it was as huge a benefit for Nico as it is for, Nico was going to earn the targets regardless. It wasn't like Jaden Higgins was going to keep Nico from getting targets. So
Right.
it's a much bigger benefit for the guys that are lower in the pecking order, like Tank Dell, Jalen Knoll, Dalton Schultz. So that's more where we saw movement. If anything, I would think that the market probably moves more on Nico relative to what we do. And so we might just be, instead of being around 12% on him, we come in closer to even, if people react really hard to the Jaden Higgins injury.
Which I mean, look at this draft right here. I don't think they're reacting that hard at all to
Yeah,
Nico.
not right now. And I don't think it really should be a huge needle mover. I think a lot of like really my qualms there, like I think of those 8 players that
Oh,
go from 2-9 to 3-4, you're kind of just
yes.
quibbling about the order of them, and I don't really think it's a huge deal either way there. So
Yeah, no, I definitely agree here. AJ Brown was smashing the Eagles today in practice. Yeah, what do you expect? What do you expect? It's practice. I'm sure he went out there trying to just crush all his old teammates here. All right, so the kick is showing all
yeah,
green right
the
now.
4th round is for running backs.
The fourth round is for running backs. What do we think about like ETN or Swift here in IKBing?
I'm fine with that.
Which one would you prefer, ETN?
If you're gonna IKB, I'd do ETN.
Okay, let's do ETN then. I just first of all, I'm fine with Josh Jacobs. I just rather ETN in a better offense. I've already talked about the offensive line concerns with Green Bay. I think it's going to end up that team's going to end up being a little more pass heavy than they're going to want to be. And I think ETN's just in a better spot. People were all worried about Alvin Kamara, and I said this when everyone was starting to draft Kamara that I wasn't worried about ETN, and now Kamara's hurt, and it's like I think ETN's just like a really solid pick in a good offense with a pretty solid offensive line, solid schedule. They paid him. They're gonna use him. Like Kellen Moore, I trust as a coach. Like everything sets up well for him, and I feel like the fourth round is a really good pick for him in that spot. And I'd rather him over Josh Jacobs. I think there's just a little more untapped upside where we kind of know what we're getting with Josh Jacobs. Nothing flashy. It's just like solid. But I think ETN can do that, but also could give us a little more.
Yeah, ETN's just been as far as like a runner. He's been good, not great in his career. Not that Josh Jacobs has been otherworldly or anything, and so
Yeah.
that's kind of we're pretty close on him. I think though, if we got to a situation where pretend the NFL came out tomorrow and said we promise Josh Jacobs will not be suspended, we'd probably prefer him over ETN.
Well,
Um,
there's obviously that concern too. So
yeah, we are reducing his suspension risk basically as we get closer and closer to the season with no additional news.
are
Um,
you worried about Puka at all? Are you guys worried
not
at all?
not really. I think I saw people on prediction markets were overreacting to that, and I went and got a few $100s of Puka to play in
Puka
week
money?
one. Yeah, I got it at like
Okay, wait, hold on. We'll come back to that. We got some decisions to make here. So we're almost up on the clock now. We have a 0-1-2-1 build. We got Lamar Jackson still on the board. We got Bucky Irving, Quinshawn, which obviously we could use a running back too. The kick saying running back. Do
I
you
would do Judkins here because of the guys that I see fall more often. Like
okay?
Bucky can fall. I've gotten Bucky in the 6th. I've gotten Lamar in the 6th recently. Like
I've seen Quinshawn fall too a little bit.
really, he's one that
I've
doesn't.
gotten him in the sixth a couple times.
Okay, I haven't been able to get that lately.
Yeah, yeah, no, but I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I think we've seen the other guys fall more, is what you're alluding to, which is correct.
Yeah, and I'm hopeful that maybe we can sneak there's the Josh Allen drafter behind us, so maybe we can sneak Lamar past him.
There goes Bucky right
Bucky's gone.
there. Um, Rich says have 13% Hampton, 20% Mitchell, and 350 drafts.
I mean, if it's like the Dolphins backfield, the year that Mostert set the touchdown record, you're going to be real happy.
You're gonna be real happy if it's like that. Yeah, Josh fell to 4.
Okay, there goes Lamar. The Bucky drafter also gets
Son of
Lamar.
a B. Well, that sucks. All right. Tyler Warren got banged up in practice. You worried at all?
Not super worried. We our team doctor on the leg up rankings team is not particularly concerned with it. We do have some injury input in for him now and some risk that he misses games in the early season.
Oh, and Travion goes too.
Okay, have you come around on Jadarian Price? Or are you still pretty anti-Price?
I am. I'm still unsold, but every person I do shows with likes Jadarian Price.
I
Like
think it's
every
just a
single
good I think it's a good price for him. No, no pun intended.
I think there's a little but uh
Because like, man, they're playing Halani
ah,
in the preseason and letting Price rest. Like it sure seems like, and this is a little bit of a bummer for me because I was thinking, hey, there's a decent chance that they really do ease Price in slow and Halani gets, think of it as kind of like a Zach Charbonnet role from last season. And like, if I can get that from Halani in the 20th round, I'm really into
so
that. It looks like it's going to probably be a lighter role than that even, and that Price is going to be in a situation where
I just
basically what you're fading is Charbonnet coming back and being
right.
fully right, which I do not hate as a bet to make because I think you have a bunch of different outcomes that go well where Charbonnet comes back and isn't fully right, until the end of the season. Okay, great. That probably happens like a decent chunk of the time based on his injury recovery timeline. You're looking at, I think you could conservatively say 30% of the time Zach Charbonnet is just not really a factor, even if he's active. He's just not
Right.
a thing that matters to Jadarian Price any more than say Halani matters to him. And that's just on the events that are in the control of Zach Charbonnet, or I guess events related to Zach Charbonnet. Then you also have the ceiling outcomes for Jadarian Price, where it's like, it doesn't matter who his competition is. That dude's the best running back on the team by a big
So,
margin.
so this is where I push back. Kenneth Walker was by far this is what scares me. I'm just letting you know, I'm laying it out. I agree 100% with what you said. What we saw with the preseason has to make you feel way better about Jadarian Price with the George Halani side of the conversation. So like Jadarian Price until Zach Charbonnet comes back is going to be a really good pick. 100%. I'm not worried at all about all the other guys they have until Zach Charbonnet comes back. And you're right. Maybe he's not right, whatever it is. We don't know that. Who knows if he's going to be 100% or not. But they had Kenneth Walker on that team last year. Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker. And you know who they decided to give the ball to inside the 20? Not the Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker. They gave Zach Charbonnet more touches in there. They gave Zach Charbonnet the goal line looks. And I'm just terrified. I'm like, do they just really like Zach Charbonnet? Like, are they going to do it with Jadarian Price? Because you can't sit here and tell me Jadarian Price is more talented than Kenneth Walker.
I think a big part of it is success rate related, where early in his career, especially, Kenneth Walker really struggled with success rate. It's something he's improved as a player over the course of his career, which is like, I
Yeah.
think a pretty big positive. Like when you see a guy improve at something like that, that's like a pretty big tip of the cap to them of like, hey, you're able to develop your game, in an area where you're previously weak. So I'm not like fully holding that against Kenneth Walker or anything. I'm just saying that's probably the lens through which the Seahawks staff was viewing it as, hey, this guy's not as consistent.
We're up here. Oh, God, I wish I had Bears. I'm still tempted to take Caleb Williams, but we don't. Quentin
Yeah,
Johnston's at the top.
QJ's been popping up as top guy a little bit more, and he did dodge that
Well, we
injury
have
scare.
Bowers, so yeah,
Yeah, I'm
Q.
totally fine to get a little bit of QJ exposure. I think this is kind of my Mike McDaniel insurance as well, where it's like, what if we were super wrong, and it doesn't even matter if QJ's not that good. It's just Mike McDaniel schemes him up easy button stuff, and he gets to run after the catch.
Which it could definitely be the case for sure here. So we have a 0-3-3-1 build going right now in the $100 3 max. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Brock Bowers, Zay Flowers, Travis Etienne, Quinshon Judkins, Jadarian Price, and Quentin Johnston here. We're almost back up. Jim Jerry says sidekick not working in Chrome now. It actually does work, but you need a little workaround. Sack was showing me before. Sack, do you want to
Yeah,
talk about it real quick?
yeah, Jim, if you hop in the Leg Up Discord, we've got instructions on how to get Chrome working for you. Right now, the short explanation is the Chrome store took out basically any best ball related tools because the Chrome store will not allow gambling related extensions in there. The workaround is just to download the file directly and then drag it into the extensions page in Chrome. There's a step-by-step walkthrough in the Discord, and people can help you troubleshoot and get stuff like that taken care of. So I would say just jump in the Discord. There's a lot of people with the same issue that we've been able to get it resolved now. The easy fix, if you have Firefox or want to install Firefox as a browser, just go ahead and use Firefox instead of Chrome. But if you really want to use Chrome, it still works. You just have to do this workaround to get it installed.
Justin Herbert, I was going to say, even if Sam Laporta was there, there's something to be said about just getting a quarterback in these things. And I like it.
Yeah, get him stacked up with QJ.
Yep.
Feel like we're in a pretty strong spot too. We've got 2 really strong receivers, and then we've got our flex covered with a running back here. So we're in a pretty balanced build.
Yeah, we don't feel dead. Honestly, I don't feel like dead at any of the positions. I feel pretty comfortable at most of the positions. You could say our wide receiver three is a little weak, but you know, we have 3 solid running backs if everything works out the way we hope. You know, and then we have a stud tight end, you know, 2 really good receivers, then 1 receiver that, I mean, potentially could be really good, depending on how things fall with the Chargers. I think the Chargers are going to be your classic best ball team where they're going to be so frustrating in DFS because it could be like two new guys just pop up and have big games weekly. It might not be the consistency week in and week out, but for best ball, that's fine because we'll just take our good scores, right? Right, Zach? You know what I mean? It's like I'll just take, like, when QJ scores 2 touchdowns, I'll just take those games, those big spike week games.
Yeah, I definitely it's been a little while since we touched the QJ inputs. He's just been, I think he came down a little bit in ADP, and we had come up previously. Let me see if that
was definitely the case. It was definitely because he was going like in the 70 range, like where Jalen Warren was going, like Brian Thomas Jr. kind of stuff.
Yeah, now let's see. Because we got him here at what, pick 80? Yeah, and then his ADP was, let's see.
Thomas,
yeah, it did get as high as like 72, so it has come back down a little bit.
Thomas, we'll definitely do one more. Yeah, we'll do a 25 right after this, so don't worry. I'll let you guys know when we're gonna hop in. I missed this one. Rabona King says, Zach, JSU, have you played your 250 single entry yet? I have not.
I have not either.
I haven't even looked. How is that? Is it like even close?
I think it's like around half.
Oh, okay. Then I mean, maybe we'll try and get it filled next week.
Yeah, that'd be a fun one to get to do on stream.
Yeah,
get a little family and friends in the 250.
Yep. Oh, you need one more. Oh. I would, but I'm literally live streaming this $100 right now, and I would like to live stream the 250, so then I'd have to swap the 100, or I would totally do it right now. All right. Okay, Zach, this is where I want to go Jared Goff. I just want to get my Amon-Ra Jared Goff.
Yeah, you certainly can, and see if we can push Lemon.
I'm just gonna explain it though real quick. This guy has Laporta, and this has already happened to me in the 250 on drafters today, where I tried to push it and I got sniped by the Laporta team. And yeah, I'm not gonna push that. I'm gonna take it.
That seems reasonable. Lemon, has been sliding, so it might be something where he's able to come back and we can get them both.
And I'm honestly, I'm more comfortable. I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm more comfortable IK being off the receivers in general, because I feel like there's so many guys that I'm like starting to get into that I can get later. I can sell myself on way more receivers than I can like running backs as we get later and later in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the case. The running backs that we end up liking late all basically move up to, I mean, like right around here, maybe like the 11th or the 12th. It's like as soon as a running back becomes a better pick, they don't really stay in the late rounds at all. So it gets to be really difficult if you're if you actually are in trouble at running back late, it's not a great place to be.
Now,
The Sidekick does build more 0 RB teams now than it was, say, a month ago. Like I've had a couple 0 RB teams. Some of them turn out sick, but a lot of it is hammering like kind of these middle range RBs, like getting guys from
yep.
like pick 70 through 130 or 140 and getting a lot of them there.
Now, have you guys budgeted all on your Matthew Golden, Jaden Reed stuff? And we're
We looked at just the other day, we looked at Packers inputs and the receivers, and I feel really good about how we have those inputs. I think they're pretty correct.
and Matthew Golden goes right there. J.K. Dobbins is up top on the kick. I'm not a J.K. Dobbins guy. I am into Casey Concepcion. What do you think, Zach? Do you think it's bad to IKB to KC?
I really like KC. I would probably do Dobbins here though, because I'm scared that we end up in it would not be unreasonable to me for us
Okay.
to end up in a spot where we're all out of, we miss the train at running back. You know, it comes back
Okay.
to us and it's like Aaron Jones is gone, who we came up on both Vikings running backs just after the preseason game. Just seeing we were very conservative on their inputs before, and they were still coming out as really good picks, right?
Yeah.
And so it was something where once we got that little bit of confirmation, I was like, hey, everybody, Aaron Jones is not in a wheelchair. Like Aaron Jones looks like he's still an NFL football player, you know? And we had stuff in his inputs where it was like, what if this guy's in a wheelchair, basically? And so getting the confirmation that like, hey, he does not look
But
totally washed was enough to move him up for us.
this is kind of my issue with some of those guys like Aaron. This is why I remember like a month or two ago when you saw my Aaron Jones expression, you're like, whoa, you're really IKBing off the Aaron Jones stuff. And I'm like, yeah, the dude's he can't stay healthy. He's washed. Like they know it. And you know why I know it? Because we're hearing all those rumblings now about like, oh, he can't handle more than X amount of touches. I'm like, okay, I'm out. Like they know that this dude is a walking injury, and it's about like it's a matter of time. And I kind of feel like J.K. Dobbins is the same thing. Like J.K. Dobbins can never stay healthy. If he stays healthy, he's gonna smash. That is one thing I will say. So he can play that game. Like if Aaron Jones stays healthy, I don't necessarily think he's gonna smash. J.K. Dobbins will. J.K. Dobbins has like one of the best offensive lines. He's one of the best coaches. The offense in general is going to be improved. Like everything looks good for JK. Aaron, like it's the opposite. My issue is I just don't think either of them are going to be able to stay healthy. But we might luck out here. Honestly, I don't want to jinx myself here because Raul is just lurking. But Xavier Worthy at 128.
Yeah, I'm pretty into that.
I mean, this is what I mean though. This is why this is why you were right though. We took the running back. And remember what I said the pick before? Like, I'm okay IK being, especially when it's a wide receiver that's in the top, because we can get wide receivers. Like, look at that. We just got Xavier Worthy at 128. Like, we can get those guys later.
Yeah, question in the chat from Tyler Official. Does the Sidekick support the week 1 through 4 contest? Right now, we don't have that in there. We would need to write some new stuff to be able to support it. It's, I would say, unlikely that we have time to write that here. It's a really busy season for us as we're doing all this stuff with training camp news and preseason games and all, you know, there's a lot going on. We've increased the frequency of our rankings calls. We're doing lots and lots of work running multiple sims every day. So it's a lot to be able to also take time to write stuff to support that. It's possible that we do that if we have a little time. We would like to, but I would say for now, don't count on it. But it would be a nice little surprise. It'd be something that'd be fun for us to get out there. But yeah, the fact that it's also only one format where it's like, hey, the total amount of volume you can get down in this is pretty limited. You know, there's total of $500,000 of prizes for that format. It does make it a little more less economically feasible for us to spend time on that. But we're sick enough that that would be a fun thing for us that we'd like to do if we have the time. We just need to make sure that we're allocating the resources properly to make sure the rest of the product is as good as it can be.
So we got a couple of possible injury guys up here. Well, Kyle Monangai goes, so he's off the board. Rashad White hasn't practiced in 2 days, and he's at the top of the kick right now. No, any worry with Rashad White because this is a good value here.
Yeah, not enough worry for me to pass on him at 137, you know?
Okay.
So
All right.
I'm fine taking him there. We did come down on him just a touch, but it's I think it's something where at this price, especially with our team, where it was like, oh gosh, what if we missed the boat at running back? Like, and going back to like what you're saying about Dobbins and Aaron Jones, I'm not even as bullish on Dobbins like really good outcomes as you are. I think what you're actually getting in those guys is like this is a guy you'd hate to have in redraft because you never want to start him because it's like, what's he going to get me? 10 points. But in best ball, it's like, what's he going to get me? 10 points? Like, yes, there are weeks where I'd love those 10 points, right? And
Oh,
I know
Dobbins can give you 15.
for sure, for sure. I'm trying, I'm trying to give you the less rosy
I was
take.
joking. I was joking. I was like, it's my upside. Oh, Dobbins can give you a nice 15 burger right there.
But yeah, I think that's more what you're kind of looking for in this
Yeah.
range. Now, you'd love it if there were guys here that had more upside than that,
Right.
but this year they're just kind of slim pickings. Although I did get Keaton Mitchell top guy in I got him top guy in a 5.55 the other day and a big dog. So I got a little high stakes Keaton Mitchell exposure.
Look at him. Look at him rubbing it in my face right there. Do you
Well,
see how he's
I just
rubbing it
want
in
you to
my face
know,
right there?
we think there's a time and place for Keaton Mitchell, and he's a click you could make. It's not egregious or anything. It's something I'm going to be underweight on, but at least this time, or now, say Keaton Mitchell breaks off a 40-yard touchdown, I can be celebrating with you in the DMs.
Yeah.
I don't have to sit there, like sad Squidward staring out the window at SpongeBob and Patrick, running back and forth gleefully as they celebrate the Keaton Mitchell house call.
Yeah, come on. We want to celebrate with friends here. Okay. So I don't know. So the kick is like more running backs. I feel like we're pretty good right now running back. Like
I think what we're likely running into here is that we're only going to take, wide receiver and tight end with our last few picks. And these are the last running backs that are kind of worth anything for us here. So it's like, and we didn't get one of the first 3-round running backs, so we're a little lighter at running back. And so getting one of these guys would be kind of nice. And then we can really hammer wide receiver and tight end.
I was going to ask if we could IKB to Keenan Allen, but he did just go. So
I think at this point, I'm never IKBing to Keenan Allen because I think the inputs we have in for him are really fair.
Good. Yeah.
And I think that the ADP that we have in there is like where he goes reasonably to like help inform the Sims where that is. And
do you agree with Lloyd over Woody, or are you Woody over Lloyd?
I'm fine with either. Lloyd is more fun to me. I'm like kind of an anti-Woody Marks person, but if it was me, I'd just click the top guy. But
I'm clicking Lloyd, especially because I didn't click Josh Jacobs. So I'm like, screw it. I already bet against Josh Jacobs kind of by not clicking him and going ETN. So let me just take it a step further and be like, well, what if Josh Jacobs does get suspended, or Marshawn Lloyd just is really good and Josh Jacobs is starting to get old and dusty?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly am never going to be sad to click Marshawn Lloyd. I'm a little bummed that he goes as early as he does now because we really liked him when he was going super late. We'll still get him, but get him a lot less than we were.
Okay, Jacoby. I don't normally see a Jacoby Brissett in my kick.
I think it's because all the quarterbacks are gone, and it's like, hey man, you're in a bunch of these like higher stakes ones where the advanced structure is a little easier. It seems to like the safety of a third quarterback, where it's like, hey, you don't even need to put up that craziest score in the finals. But we do have
a third quarterback. We got Mendoza later. The horse.
Is he still under or?
Oh yeah, he's
okay.
180s. We could probably push.
I think it's more that we can't guarantee that. There's some drafts where you get to your next pick and Mendoza's there. There's also some drafts where Mendoza gets sniped, Aaron Rodgers goes, and you're kind of bummed.
Travis Hunter.
Yeah, I would be very happy to just take Hunter here. And then we're saying, hey, of the quarterbacks remaining, one of Jacoby or Rodgers or
I
Mendoza
like Hunter too. It's not about Travis Hunter. He just always falls.
Yeah,
I'll click him. I'll click him here. I think I think in these spots when we're drafting right now, like in a way, you should be trying to push up guys that the board is trying to push up.
Well, I think if I think through what are the best picks for my team, maybe it was Travis Hunter there, and then say, Dalton Schultz in the next round, and then a quarterback in the round after that. It's like if I pushed up someone
Dalton Schultz was a really good pick there. Like he was someone I was in my head.
But he's one where I'm more confident that Schultz will come back to us than Travis Hunter. Because
I'm not now that the Jaden. I think Schultz is the biggest mover of the Jaden news.
He could be. And if he is, I'd certainly be happy because he's my most drafted player right now.
Oh, I know you slammed Dalton Schultz. So you'll be very happy if that's the case.
Yeah, my let's see.
Oh, Fernando goes. Look at you. You were right.
Yeah, my highest drafted player is, as far as fees, is Dalton Schultz with $14,656 of American dollars on Dalton Schultz.
That's crazy. Why is Rashid going late? There's a video surfacing about an ice bucket challenge where he kind of like slips or whatever, and then he didn't practice for, what is it, 2 days now, Zach?
Yeah, I believe so.
So now everyone's kind of freaking out saying like, look in the video, he kind of like slips and as he's like running away because the water's cold, and now he didn't practice for 2 days and stuff like that. He could just be needing a vet rest. Who knows?
What if he's just still cold? You don't know.
Yeah, could be. I mean, that stuff is cold. Have you ever done like the cold plunge?
Oh yeah.
It's cold, man.
I don't mind the cold plunge. I'm not going to stay in there for like 5 minutes or anything, but like
3 minutes, dude.
Yeah, nice. 3 minutes. Shoot, 60 seconds, 90 seconds even can be good for me. 3 minutes is long. I mean, depends on how cold you're doing.
Why? How cold have you done?
I don't know what the actual temperature there.
I mean,
it's I've been in like full ice bath for like sports rehab stuff before, and that's
so like 34 degrees, like
just as much ice as you can put in there and enough water that you're able to still move it. But here we go. We get Schultz coming back.
We get Schultz there. All right. Schultz is a good pick right there. So we still get it. All right. Sack was right. Look at that. This was the other guy I was gonna. Raul's too sharp. Raul DM me, asking me players to watch lists, and I told him
Cyrus Allen, Tank Bell are both two pretty good ones.
I told him Cyrus Allen, and he sniped them. Good job, Raul. And Trey Harris goes, well, damn, no one wants us to have fun. Oh man, I see the dreaded Omar Cooper at the top of my kick.
I mean, at this point, it's like, dude, it's just too cheap for a guy who went in the first round. Like,
but Zach, hear me out. What if he plays for the New York Jets and they're just not that good?
Yeah, I still think that a guy who is very, very likely to be running the full complement of routes by the end of the season, and even if he's bad, say he's getting 6 targets a game, like you're feeling
6 targets a game. He might not get. You'll be lucky if he gets like 2 targets. What do you mean 6 targets a game?
I think I'm slamming the over on 2 targets.
Oh, dude,
I'm feeling pretty good about 2 targets.
We got to go way under on your expectations for. They're going to be playing a ton of heavy personnel sets. He's going to play like he's gonna play like the Pop Douglas role, dude. That's like 30% of the routes, 40% of the routes.
I would hammer the over on 30% of the
I
routes.
don't think so. Oh God, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm gonna go with my horse, Ted Hurst.
I mean, we like Ted Hurst.
I know you guys do. That's why I clicked them. I know you guys like it. I know you wouldn't make fun of it either because I know you guys have tons of Ted Hurst bags.
We do have lots of Ted Hurst bags.
I'm just clicking Ted Hurst every single time. I don't trust that Mecca Book toe injury. Jalen McMillion's already dealing with injuries. This dude is good, man. Like you watch him.
Ted Hurst is very good. Yeah, we agree.
You watch him in the preseason, like he looks legit. I know it's against backups and some of the stuff was against backups, but still, he looked really good out there. And I think he's going to play a lot early. Like I won't be shocked if Ted Hurst plays more than Omar Cooper early in the season. And I know you will be shocked by that, but I won't be shocked by that.
I don't think it's super unreasonable. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I could see that going either way. I don't think either one. I don't think either position is outlandish or anything like that.
Rabona King says you boys are too sharp to be drafting Travis Hunter. I don't know, man. Travis Hunter, like, what's the worst case scenario for Travis Hunter? Like, honestly, we know he's gonna play some on offense. The coach already said he is wide receiver 3A, 3B. What does that mean? He's pretty much everyone's backup. You know what I mean? Like he's pretty much everyone's backup. Like someone gets hurt, he slides in, but he's going to have a package sack. So what is like the worst outcome for Travis Hunter where he's going right now?
I think the worst outcome is I'm just going to like kind of paint the universe. It's everybody on the offense stays healthy, all three receivers. Brian Thomas Jr. has a major resurgence, like we're talking, down the stretch rookie season, Brian Thomas, and he is you want like, how does it get really bad? It's that Brian Thomas Jr. is the number one target in the offense because from a talent profile and like that perspective, that's the player that has the ability to suck the most oxygen out of the room. I know people love Parker Washington and like we have Parker Washington projected as the wide receiver that scores the most points for the Jags right now. But like, if you're talking about the raw upside of like who could be the biggest, baddest dude, it's for sure Brian Thomas. And so the really bad outcomes for Travis Hunter are Parker Washington's good, but Brian Thomas is better. And they cannot let either of those two players ever come off the field. Like that's just not feasible for playing their best personnel. And so then it has to come through Jacoby Myers, who I think they really like. And then also you run into maybe like they have injuries on defense. And so he's required to play more snaps on defense. That's how I think you get the worst outcomes for Travis Hunter. And even in that, like the team invested a lot of capital into Travis Hunter. They're invested in him wanting, like they want Travis Hunter.
I can't beat a Zachariah Branch, by the way.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
I have a rule, and it's don't try not to click Calvin Ridley if I can.
But they want Travis Hunter to get to do what he wants as well. And he very much wants to play on both sides of the ball. Like that is a goal for him. He wants that to be a thing that he gets to do. So I think even in those really bad scenarios, maybe you're down to like by the end of the season, how it shakes out is like, hey, he's playing 20% of the snaps on offense. And they're probably all passing plays. And they're probably plays where he's getting schemed a bunch of target. Like if we're going to play you so little, when we get you out, it's going to be like the Deion Sanders kind of stuff when, hey, Deion didn't play a ton on offense, but when he did play, they made sure to get in the ball because it's like, come on. And so
it's like, why is he out there? He's not a decoy out. Like if he's out there, they're going to be trying to like get him a touch. You know what I mean? Like,
so I think in those scenarios, you're looking at like a median of 2 targets a game, which would be pretty bad, like that. But I think that's the floor outcome. And so if you think through that, and again, I don't think that's how the season starts.
I mean, this is
Charlie Kolar.
This is how you start. You start by talking about Charlie Kolar. You finish the draft by clicking Charlie Kolar. That's how it's done right there. That's a professional. The sidekick must have been listening because that's a professional right there. I'm just gonna say that.
But think through, like, because I don't think Travis Hunter starts the season with only 20% of routes and then it holds the whole way through, right? That's like we discovered over the course of the season.
Yeah, like what if like he gets 20% of the routes week 1, but like he in those 20%, he like houses a 60-yarder or something like that. Are they
Yeah, and
gonna
that's
be
how
like,
you get into like the better that's how you crack out of the
yeah,
like universe of bad outcomes into like, oh shit, we have to have this guy on the field more, right?
correct.
And so the universe of bad outcomes are the season starts. He's probably more. I just don't think the plan is to have him only play 20% of the snaps on offense, right? But it progresses
Right.
down into that because of injuries or Brian Thomas Jr. just playing out of his mind and Parker Washington being good. And so if you're saying the worst case scenario is like 2 targets a game and it doesn't start like that, then
Mhm.
2 targets a game over 17 games is 34, and it probably starts a little better. So you're like 40 targets. So you're not getting a 0. Your worst case, it's like you're not happy with it if that worst case scenario runs out. But I also think that the way that he gets deployed is something where there's going to be a lot of variability game to game, and a guy who might get 2 targets on average, but maybe gets 6 or 7 of them all in one game, and he's a good player. And so it's just that's kind of how I think through it. And that's how I would see like the really bad outcomes going.
Hey, Cubs, don't be putting that bad juju out there. We already had
That's
that once.
Yeah, I don't think that's a super useful exercise though, because the worst place scenario for every player is that they're dead, right? The worst
Right.
worst case
It's
scenario is,
Jaden Higgins.
mass casualty event.
It's
Like
the worst case scenario. You know
it's
what I mean? We lose
the team
everyone.
plane crashes, everyone
Yeah.
died, no survivors, right? So that's not particularly useful because everyone shares the same floor in that
Right.
sense. So it's useful to think through like what do the outcomes look like when a player's not injured or a player didn't die.
Trevor is talking about how Jaden Higgins' injury is brutal, had quite a bit. Someone was asking us earlier. Oh, by the way, did you see this? Travis Hunter was kicking a field
Yeah,
goal.
he made a 28-yard field goal in practice
Is
today.
there something this kid can't do? I mean, what
Dude,
in
could
the
you
world?
imagine you're playing a showdown slate? Travis Hunter's only 5,100. You roster him, the kicker gets hurt,
Does
Cam
he
Little's
get
out.
kicking points?
I think he would if
What? Is he the backup kicker? Because he's a great showdown play if he's ever the backup kicker and that kicker goes
It'd
down.
be so funny to bink on a Travis Hunter field goal.
So good.
Like,
Oh, so good.
I
I
mean, the
think,
other thing is too, like for the bit equity, like teams care about this
yeah.
kind of stuff.
Oh,
If
we're up
Travis
here. Hold
Hunter,
on. Hold on. We got to talk about this because I have another policy and it's never click to a Tunga Vailoa. So I need wide receivers. I'm not a Xavier Legette guy. Malik Benson, you could sell me on.
yeah, I'd be fine with Benson. I do think there's merit to taking Tua because just the way that the season is going to shake out is it's almost impossible for Michael Penix to start the season just
the
because he's still not cleared.
the
Um,
problem with Tua is he is so bad, and I'm telling you, I will stand on this take. Tua is going to look so bad in this offense. Everything Mike McDaniels did to hide the bad Tua, we're gonna all see. They're not gonna be able to hide it. I don't think they're gonna be good enough in Atlanta to hide bad Tua, and he's not gonna be able to hold off Michael Penix.
no, we agree. That's how we have it in the Sims as well. It's just that getting Tua to help us out early is more useful than having the playoff points, I believe is what's going on
I
here.
feel like our receivers are pretty thin, though. Honestly,
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where the quarterback is just helping us at a higher frequency than because it's like, hey, do you need help at receiver? Too bad, because
yeah,
none of this
too
isn't
bad.
making a difference.
Right?
It's like
Dude,
you either already won or already lost at receiver.
did Tua go? He must have won. I think.
Yeah,
All right. So
but that's fine.
I'm gonna give my new 20th round late clicks here, and then I'm gonna let you choose between them, Sack.
Mm, mm.
Because I got 4 of them for you. Okay, these are my new. We need new 20th round clicks here. Brennan Thompson, Jahade Walker, Xavion Thomas, and Pop Douglas.
I would beat Pop Douglas over them because he looks like
like it.
he's actually it's so funny because every other year we've always been like hammering Pop Douglas.
Yep.
And
I
this
see
year
him in
where
the
it
kick.
finally,
I see him in the kick.
he
Oh,
finally looks like he's going to be, actually getting more slot snaps this
did
year.
you see who just went?
Jahade Walker.
Jahade Walker just went. Oh, it's so good. I'm gonna click Pop Douglas. He's someone I gotta move up. I'm gonna move up.
Yeah,
because
I'm a little worried that it's like I just get 60% routes Pop Douglas, which is, you could do worse.
if he get 60%, if he gives us 60% of the routes, I'm doing a backflip live.
That's
Like,
that's
literally,
fair. In the 20th, yeah, you're right.
Desk and I'm gonna do a backflip. Okay, literally live on camera. Okay, if Pop Douglas,
I would love to see you do a backflip.
I'll do one too if he runs 60%.
You got a backflip in your bag? That's pretty awesome.
Well, I haven't done one in probably 6-7 years, but
okay.
I could do a backflip.
At one point in time, you've successfully completed a backflip, and it's not unreasonable to think you could pull one out.
I used to teach people, like gymnastic type stuff. So so I taught people how to do how to learn to do a front flip, a back flip, like all the steps to get you to do it. So yeah. I knew how to slowly teach, kids and stuff like that how to safely learn how to backflip without breaking their neck. So
we learned something new about
or walk on your hands. You know what I mean? I taught people how to do all that type of stuff. So yeah. Parts of owning a gym, I guess. What are you gonna do? All right. So let's do this here, Zach. I'm gonna get in another $25, and you're gonna break down this team that we just drafted here out of the 8 spot. We went Amon-Ra, Brock Bowers, Zay Flowers, Travis Etienne Jr. or A-Chain, Quentin Sean, Judkins, Jadarian Price, Quentin Johnston, Justin Herbert, Jared Goff, J.K. Dobbins, Xavier Worthy at 128, Rashad White at 137, Marshawn Lloyd, Travis Hunter, Dalton Schultz, Ted Hurst, Zachariah Branch, Charlie Kolar, Malik Benson, and Pop Douglas. If anyone wants to draft in the $25 over on DraftKings, the big flagship, I'm going to be getting in here. If you want to pull out your phones, I'm going to do a quick countdown in a second and then jump in. So if anyone wants to hop in, I'm going to jump in here. Just pulled it up on my phone in 3, 2, 1. Jumping in now. $3 million to first on DK. All right, Zach. 4 of 12. If anyone wants to get in, 4 of 12. What do you think of this team, Zach? How do we do?
I like it. I like that we went a little heavier on running back than we often do, just because we didn't start with any of the big studs to hold it down. We got 3 really strong guys in rounds 3, 4, or rounds 4, 5, 6.
Yep.
With Etienne, Judkins, Price. And then we got some of those guys. We got good faller on the ice bucket scare on Rashad White. Get Dobbins there as well. And then we get the fun little treat for ourselves of Marshawn Lloyd. So like the running back room, wide receivers started really strong with Amon-Ra and Zay Flowers out of the gate. And then we get Johnston stacked up with Justin Herbert. So we've got both of our quarterbacks stacked up. And then I did really like the value we got on Xavier Worthy. And then we just threw a bunch of fun darts at the end at wide receiver with either some rookies or guys where the playing time is, you gotta get a little imaginative on Travis Hunter and be able to think through all the different outcomes that could happen, not just the bad ones. And so we've got guys with some upside at the end. I think we've got a good squad here.
Yeah, I think we got a good squad. It might be, I like our tight ends. I like our running back. I think we're actually pretty strong at running back overall. I think we're pretty strong. If Jadarian Price is who you say he could be, then we're pretty strong. I'm not worried at all about running back. Quarterback, we're going to have to stay healthy because obviously we only have 2. So that's a little concern. And I think our wide receiver depth is you know what I mean? It's not the greatest, but we got to get lucky with some of these young guys we drafted late. They're gonna have to do a little bit. Travis Hunter's gonna have to, do what we think he can do and build off of it a little bit. But overall, I like the team. I think that we're gonna win at least in a couple of these, like tight end. I think running back, honestly, we're pretty strong too. So I'm not worried at all about that.
Have you seen the Ted Hurst stuff about they're moving him around? He's lining up different places too. So that's
No, I didn't see that. Was that today? There was something out about it?
it's been the last like week or so. They said he's been lining up different places at camp. So that's encouraging just for his
Keep clicking
ability
'em.
to get on the field in more ways.
Right.
I do like that a lot. Especially, I think it's probably motivated by the injuries that they're dealing with, where they're like, "Ooh, we probably just need to make sure that we've got guys that can play everywhere." So
Well, if you watch Ted Hurst play, to me, I know he looks like an X, but he also to me looks like he could do whatever they ask. He looks that talented to me.
this is don't like take this comp to don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying Ted Hurst is a 1-for-1 replacement of this player, but you know who his game reminds me a little bit of?
You can say
George
it.
Pickens.
Say it. Ah, yeah.
He
Yeah.
looks a little Pickensy. He's
He
not
does.
quite as like, I mean, George Pickens is a freaking alien, like Ted
George
Hurst, I don't think
George
is like
Pickens also makes so many like tough catches too. Like
right.
I hope he can be like that. I think the
If
Bucks.
he's 70% George Pickens, I'm
Oh,
stoked.
I'm so happy if he's
But
even
like
close to George
he
Pickens.
has some Pickens to his game.
He does. Man, he is, and he's fast too. Like that. Like he's got the speed, the size helps too. So like the big frame and everything like that. I don't know. It feels like he has like a nice all around package. We're almost up here at 11. CD Lamb does fall. I know it's not fun. People don't love the CD train, but I keep clicking it
I
here.
don't get it. I'm
I don't get it either,
I'm pretty
honestly.
happy to take the wide receiver one on what's very live to be one of the best passing games in the
What Yeah,
NFL.
like one of the highest volume passing offenses in the NFL. Like, why is it just the Pickens stuff?
You know what I think
Maybe?
it is? I think CD played hurt last, so he gets hurt, he misses the games, he comes back and plays hurt, and it was just like a little bit of a diminished season for him. And people really index to what they've seen most recently. And a
Yep.
lot of the time that works not so bad. Like the most predictive thing is, if you're looking at N+1 seasons, the most predictive thing
Yes.
for fantasy points is, how many fantasy points were scored in season N compared to N+1. Like that is pretty useful.
Oh, Genty goes
Okay, I
here.
wonder. Oh, we get a fan at
Whoa.
the top.
Okay.
Okay.
I was gonna take Kenny Walker, but no, this is interesting. I'm gonna click HN here just
I've
because
been trying to get my weight up on a Chan.
I'm confused by, but also I probably don't have any CD HN combos at all. And I do think HN does make some sense on DraftKings because I do like Malik Willis a lot, and I have a ton of Kenneth Walker.
What if
So
I told you we came up just a touch on Malik Willis today? Just a little bit.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I spark a little morning wood. Don't get me too
So
excited here.
maybe we get a top guy Malik Willis for this draft too. That'd be special.
That would be. I don't see that very often. I'll tell you
No,
that.
I would expect that with the changes we gave him today, you'll definitely see him more than what you were seeing.
Because I'll tell you right now, whenever I clicked Malik Willis, like I gotta dig
Yeah.
through the kick to
I think I'm
find
around
Malik
like
Willis.
1.5 or 2%. Let me see, just from
I've
pure
shown you
top
my
guy.
rank on Malik Willis. I'm pretty high, or I've always been pretty high. Like even when he was going in the 150s, 140s, like I was always very high on Malik Willis.
Yeah, I'm 2% on DK. So I would bet now you probably get him closer to like 3 or 4%.
What are you on HN? Just wondering, because I noticed it definitely seems like you guys came up on him a little bit.
On HN, on DK, I only have him 5.9%, but I got a, confession time, hand up. That's who I IKB for Brock Bowers sometimes. That's my
Mm.
guilty pleasure, right? But overall, my Achane is 7.6%. So
Tyler the official says, I just got a top guy, Malik. Okay, so he's backing up your point right there. Cub says, I kind of hate drafting 12. I do this start every time.
I've got a lot of those Barkley Genty starts. I do think that's probably the best 2 players you can click there, given nothing crazy fell to you. So I do have a lot of them. Sometimes I got I had one where Genty was top guy over Saquon, and so I took Genty first.
Whoa, Gibbs Hampton. I haven't seen
Wow,
that.
that's a big fall for Hampton.
I like that combo right there where the guy went Gibbs, Hampton, Rice.
Yeah,
That's fun.
That's fun.
That's nice.
But I got a Brock Bowers to pop up as top guy with a Genty. It passed on Saquon for Bowers, so that was a fun one. I liked that.
That is fun. I know you don't like it, but I'll do Chase Brown, Henry, or Kenny Walker, Hampton sometimes at the turn just to change it up.
We did come up on Chase Brown. I think we get a good bit more of him now.
Yeah, like I have Chase Brown over Achane.
Ken Walker's the one now who's kind of getting squeezed from us coming up on Chase Brown and coming up a little bit on Achane.
Don't do it.
We haven't touched Ken Walker at all. It's just now,
bump it up, man.
Bump
it up.
We don't. That's not how we do things, though. We're not just gonna go and be like, what if we just made Ken Walker score more fantasy points? Like,
yeah, you're like, we bumped up this guy, and then I'm like, well, bump up the other guy, and you're like, no,
yeah.
we can't do that. We can't bump everyone. Let's see. Just got JT Genty start in the other room. Yeah, that's pretty dope. JT Genty.
Yeah, JT Genty's awesome.
That's awesome. Neighbors been moving up big time. Yep, 100%. What are running backs even? I don't know. Who knows? I still can't get over this Hampton Gibbs start. That's got to be a very low percentage start right there.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've seen that. I don't think I've seen.
I mean, Zach, you've done 5,000 teams. Do you have a Gibbs Hampton combo?
I don't think so. Here, let me look. Probably not.
I would assume at that point the kick would be telling you to click Hampton, right?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're up here. Whoa, Jeremiah Love's still here. Looky. Javante's up here. All right, we'll do Javante.
Yeah, let's do Javante and push and see if we can get both of them. Because Love does fall with the Q tag. Oh, but it's Ryan is in. He's in the chat.
I don't know if Cubs is gonna allow it. So that's okay though. Oh, look at Waddle jumped up. What do you like most between Olave, Rice, and Collins? Well, Cubs, I made an update to the ranks. I think I have that now. Nico, Olave, Rice in that order.
Yeah, I would be Nico, Rice, Olave.
Nico, Rice, Olave.
But yeah, we're basically aligned. We just you like Rashi less than I do.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we flipped Rashid and Olave. Yeah. So what do you do here? Like depending on what Cubs does always, but we have Jalen Waddle up top. Love. Oh, Waddle goes right there. I mean,
we get Love of the 4th round. I'm good with that. Nice.
I keep telling people, look at that rank right there. Keep telling people when he goes at my rank, I will click him. Goes in my rank, I will click him. Man of my word.
Yeah, that's a fun. I mean, you want to talk about like combos people don't have. I don't think there's going to be many people with this.
Probably not because we pushed up Achane in the second, and then we got Javante does.
Javante goes here, but yeah, Love getting Love all the way here is
right.
Was not as possible until recently.
You know, a guy that I'm just waiting for you guys to push down is Cam Scatterbo.
We did lower him just a touch today.
Can you lower him a touch more? I don't want to see him anymore. I want him out.
I think the inputs on him are right.
Is there a feature in the kick where I can manually go in and just take a guy out? Can I just take
what I would do there's 2 things I would recommend. Number 1, if it's just 1 or 2 guys, pretend that you're like, I agree with you on basically everything. except like I never want to see Cam Scattaboo. All that I would say is just IKB off Cam Scattaboo always.
Okay.
That's like the best way to do it. But if it's something where it's like, I think you're wrong about Scattaboo, I think you're wrong about Rice, you're wrong about Caleb, you're wrong about this, then I think using the custom ranks is a better, like if you think there's like 10 or 12 spots you disagree with us, use the custom ranks. And basically the way that I would think about it when you're uploading custom ranks to the Sidekick is you tell us where you would draft that player, and that's informing the sims of their relative value to other players.
I
And
got
we
you.
will then adjust the sims based on what you're telling us. And so things that people don't think about as much though is if you have a player lower than we do, even if it's not, if you're not like for example, pretend you really like Caleb and you move him up so he's higher than, and just by virtue of moving him up, you didn't move anyone else down intentionally, but now everyone that you moved Caleb ahead of is now one spot lower. You are telling us that those players are all one spot worse than we think they are. And so you're nerfing all these people. So you do that a lot, even if it's like, but what do you, I didn't move this guy down at all. It's like, yeah, but you moved 6 guys ahead of him and that pushed him down enough that you kind of nerfed him. And so that's one thing I'd be aware of if you're using custom ranks with the Sidekick. Like even if you didn't actively move a guy, moving other guys ahead of him is also effectively nerfing them.
Gonna nerf those guys that you moved ahead of. Okay, that makes sense.
But I do think custom, if you're someone who you're like, I like what you guys are doing with like the math side of all of it, I just think I could do better on the inputs of like, hey,
Right.
I know ball a little bit better than you.
Yeah.
That's what custom ranks are for, you know, and you go in and do that. I just say, don't like, if you're like, I love Caleb, I want to make sure I get him. Don't go put Caleb in like the 40s, you know, put him where you draft him. And that helps inform us.
Like a realistic ranking, not like a crazy ranking.
Yeah.
Because it's going to mess up the whole thing.
If you do a crazy one, like just beware, like you're telling us some crazy stuff. So you might get crazy in, crazy out, you know?
That does make sense right here. All right. Well, we can't agree on everything, my friend. Agree with most of JSU's takes. Scattaboo is not one of them. Yeah, I know people love Scattaboo. I get it. They love him. It is what it is. See, dude. I told you. Look who's still here.
Man,
look who's still here.
Sean again.
I'm telling you, dude. I don't know.
I'm into it.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but
people watch the Browns quarterbacks play in preseason.
Well, that could actually, you're probably right. Actually, that's what it is. Literally. Yeah.
We were looking at some inputs on Browns quarterbacks today, and Pat was like, I think we could come up a little bit on Shadur Sanders. Like, absolutely not. Don't you dare. I was like, don't touch it. Leave it alone.
Stay. Rabona King says, help me cope. Tyson teams all dead.
No, not all dead.
Not all dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Tyson teams can easily be saved. Think of all the guys that have jumped up in the ADPs that people are now taking ahead. Like Tyson could come back at week 6 and be great. You know what I mean?
Luther Burden did nothing for your teams all year.
And he was the winner.
And then he nuked in week 17.
He was the winner.
And Luther Burden was going a little later than Tyson goes, you know, but it's not unreasonable that a Tyson team that you drafted at a ADP that now seems high is
so I just think this is a smash right here. Like 62. We didn't
get it in the last draft, but you know, the universe made sure that we got the Lamar fall here. I'm very happy with that.
I mean, Lamar at 62, like you just take him and you'd be happy at that point.
That and like these other quarterbacks going in the 60s is literally the reason we don't draft Josh Allen. If you moved all these guys up even one round, we would draft a bunch of Josh Allen, I'm pretty sure. But that is the reason, because I can just wait. And dude, it's week 1. You're looking at DFS projections. You're building your lineups. What does Lamar Jackson project for? And what does Josh Allen project for week 1? You know, is it 3 rounds different?
No,
it's not. You know, like
it's literally like a point projection wise or something like that.
And there's weeks where they'll flip back and forth where it's like,
Yeah.
hey,
I
Lamar's
mean,
got the cushy
most
matchup.
weeks, probably Josh Allen's like 1 or 2 projection points, probably ahead of Lamar. But it's close enough where it's like, is it really worth 3 rounds? Like, no, it's not.
And that's kind of the whole, like, do I want to fade Josh Allen, the player? Like, if I didn't know anything about ADP and you're like, so you're gonna fade Josh Allen this year, I'd be like, why am I doing that? But then when you tell me like, well, he goes in the 3rd and all the other quarterbacks go in the 6th and 7th that are of that next tier, it's like, well, I guess, man, I guess I'll
Pricing
fade him.
plays a lot into what you guys are doing. The price
Yeah.
of these guys, it's all it's the same thing we've talked about for months on this show about the Bears. You know what I mean? You're like, if Luther Burden went just a round later,
And now I hammer Luther Burden now. He goes at 49 or 50 now,
yes,
and I'm slamming him. And he was going at 42 and 43 earlier,
right,
and I was hands off.
right. So it's all about the prices and stuff like that, which obviously, I mean, works. You know what I mean? Like, look at the Debo stuff, Stephon Diggs, now Keenan Allen. A lot of that stuff. It looks really good right now. If you were clicking those guys this whole time, and now they're jumping up, like the price changes, and what you said to me, you're like, no, lay off on Keenan. Like, if our Sims isn't pushing them, then it's probably not needed, or you probably don't need to like reach for them at that point. And you're probably right, and that's one way to use it. Even if you do like IKB, that type of stuff is good for certain players like that who everyone's trying to push up now. It's like, okay, do I IKB? Do I listen to the Sims? And like, that's a place where I listened to you. I listened to the Sims. I was like, he's right. Like, if the Sims thought I needed Keenan Allen, I've seen it. You guys would be pushing it up.
And the spots where I'd say like IK being to reach on a late player, like a later round player that's rising rapidly, and you're like, I don't want to miss out on this guy. Like Jacoby Lane's a good example. Is if you are, the way I'd think of it is like, if you think Jacoby Lane's bad outcomes just exist a lot less or at a lower frequency than is reasonable, like I'd probably familiarize yourself with like the base rates of like how things shake out for NFL prospects. Like shout out to JJ Zacharyason's work. His prospect guide is really good for giving you like a framework for, hey, this guy is about this good as a prospect. He's got him categorized in different buckets, and this is how frequently he scores this many points. This is how frequently he scores this many points. If you have a good idea of like those base rates, and then you want to say, well, hey, for Jacoby Lane, I know this would be about the base rate. I just think that's wrong. I think Jacoby Lane never is that bad. I think he's locked in to be good now. That's a really good reason to IKB onto those late risers, because we cannot put in the Sims, and Jacoby Lane never busts. In fact, Jacoby Lane's guaranteed to be he's at the worst case scenario going to the Pro Bowl. Like, we can't put that in there reasonably, but if you think that, that's a great reason to IKB and be like, I am going to reach a little bit for this guy because I believe in the drumbeat and I don't think the bad outcomes really exist anymore.
Yeah, 100%. We are almost up on the clock. We started out with a CeeDee Lamb, Devin Achane, Javonte Williams, Jeremiah Love, Quinshon Judkins, Lamar Jackson build a 1-4-1-0 here. We do need a wide receiver. I'm not a DK bull,
I'm
but
not a DK enjoyer either, but I find myself taking him here. Like,
I do think he makes sense for this team just because we need guys presumably that are wide receiver ones. We could use a wide receiver one, and he would be technically the wide receiver one. I don't know if it's going to play out that way. Michael Pittman could end up eating his lunch, but we'll see. Did you guys come down on the Josh Downs inputs?
We already had assumed Keenan was going to be there a pretty good amount of the time. So we didn't come down a ton. It was like, I would say is more of a minor nudge where we moved down on Josh Downs a few weeks ago when it started, like after Debo signed, and it was like, okay, it's looking more like, Keenan is going to be the one to go to the Colts. We're like, we probably need to bake some of this in. And so we were a little bit ahead of the curve there. So we had slowed down on Josh Downs a little bit, but that's feeling better now. I don't think he's a bad pick now by any means. I think people are kind of overreacting a little bit to that stuff, but
Um, I think Tony Pollard with our team is not the best click, to be honest with you, but this range is brutal.
yeah, I
Like,
think it's just like, hey, why don't you just put a bow on it at running back and
I,
take Tony Pollard here?
I think
Because the
Blake
other stuff
Corum's a
would be
better
big
pick,
reaches.
but I think Blake Corum's just a better pick.
Yeah, if you wanted to do Corum, you could.
I did it. Yeah, I think he's gonna end up outscoring Tony Pollard. I think Tony Pollard's bad outcomes are like really bad. And on top of it, I think I'm just like kind of out on the Giants and the Titans. Like
Yeah, the
they're just
Titans look not great.
they're two teams that I do not want to be invested in this offseason, like or this season. Like I want as little to do with those teams as possible. That's
we
kind of like my hate for Scadaboo is Nagy and those things are like real things that we should. They just signed Najee Harris. What do you think they signed him for? He's gonna trot out there on a goal line attempt. He's gonna do the pass protection stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who knows what they do with Tyrone Tracy? The best part about all those reports, I forgot to even ask you about this, but all those reports are coming out, and then like Tyrone Tracy is the first one out there with the ones for practice the next day. After
Yeah,
like
that
they signed
that didn't
Najee.
really move anything for us. We're still like, we think there's very real concern for Tyrone Tracy. I'd be surprised. I mean, it depends on how far he falls. I'd be surprised if you got Tyrone Tracy as a top guy. Not that we think Najee is, guaranteed to be anything.
I don't think he is any. I don't really think he is anything, but just an annoyance.
Right. I do think he's probably annoying,
It's like Devin Singletary. It's like I don't think Devin Singletary is anything, but he could have been annoying.
Yep.
Like he could
Yep.
be annoying. We've been saying that. It's like these guys. Kamani Vidal could be annoying. I don't think he will be, but it was one of
Ooh.
the ideas.
I've got a good annoying guy for you. He's not a running
Uh-oh.
back. He's a tight end. But the drumbeat has kind of been there for this guy.
What team did he play for?
He plays for the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, the rookie?
Yeah, are you a little Hibner curious?
I am curious. It's caused the Mark Andrews fall though, which I'm already kind of in deep on the Mark Andrews stuff, and I'm like, I kind of got to buy this fall at this point. Like, is Mark Andrews washed? Is this Hibner guy just better?
No,
I don't know.
I don't think that's the case. What I think though is, like, I'm not expecting. I feel like there were some people that were expecting Mark Andrews to get like a significant route rate increase this year, where hey, Isaiah Likely's gone, so like Mark Andrews really has to step back up into the role that he had previously, where he
I think
ran.
it was a fair assumption. Not that it has to
For sure.
happen, right?
Oh,
but
I thought it was the most likely outcome as well, But I think Hibner is like starting to sound like he could be a thing enough that it might be annoying by the end of the season. It probably is nothing to start the season. Like, I don't think I'd ever draft Hibner.
I was just going to ask you that. Like, would 20th round Hibner be a thing on a Lamar team?
I probably need like 24 rounds to click Hibner.
Are you so okay, so that's interesting. So that could just be annoying for Mark Andrews. There's a couple things, like Greg Dulcich is another tight end where I saw a really good breakdown. I can't remember the guy's name, but he did a really good breakdown on the tight ends, and was it Will? It's the backup tight end.
Kaczmarek, yeah.
Yeah, Kaczmarek, or however you say his name. But man, is he a good blocker. And he was out there. He was taking on, linemen. He was like, he was blocking everybody. And they're like, they love this kid. And I'm like, well, I can see why. And I mean, Mekhi Lemon.
Yeah. You saw he is back. He's limited participant in practice, but he was like sprinting, running routes full speed.
I was never really like too worried about the Mykhailiam and Devontae. It felt to me like they were, let's just, let's let them rest a little
Yeah.
bit. Let's be careful with them and go from there. When the owner came in, or was it the owner or the GM, and he equated it to when was it Cooper DeJean or who was the
Yep.
rookie
Yeah, Cooper
who got
DeJean.
hurt, and he's like, he was hurt and he came back and he was pretty good.
Yeah,
Like,
by week 5, Cooper DeJean was like the best player on the Eagles defense.
yes,
So
exactly. I don't understand. The Brock Purdy fall to me is the most mysterious thing.
ooh, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I'm super into Brock Purdy. Who was it? Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember who.
Do you
Okay,
want
okay.
me to IKB or do you want me to click Brock Purdy?
I want you to click Brock Purdy.
Okay. I was just making sure before I clicked them because I didn't know if you were gonna say like you want me to IKB onto somebody.
So I remembered who the player was in the other side of this Brock Purdy conversation we were having as a rankings team today, and I just realized I'm going to lose your support on this, so it's a bummer. But I'll tell you anyway. Who do you think? Who do you think has the highest score this season in a single week between Brock Purdy and Caleb Williams?
Oh, come on, man.
I knew I'd lose you.
Come on, man. No. So we're not talking about the full season, right?
No, just single week. Who nukes the hardest in 1 week?
Well, I think the answer might actually be Brock Purdy.
That was what I was saying.
Do not think
I was on an island, though.
I do not think Brock Purdy outscores Caleb Williams.
No, we don't either. But
Right.
My point that I was making to the team is like I do think like single week who goes the most nuclear, I think it could be the other thing too, have you seen all this stuff out of 49ers camp? Like they're pretty worried the defense is going to be bad again.
Well, okay. This was another reason why I love the Bears in the week 17 last year. Like the defense wasn't good. I don't think the defense is going to be good again this year. But this is another reason why I think Brock Purdy's the answer to your question, is because not only is the defense an issue, because by the way, the Bears defense is going to be extremely suspect unless they make a trade for a really good defender, because they're dropping like flies. You know what I mean? That secondary is brutal right now. Even some of the guys they signed, I know Xavier Woods came back, but he got hurt. It's like they're going to have big issues. But one of the other reasons why, and I think it makes a lot of sense to me, is the rushing efficiency. People bring it up for CMC's kind of like downfall a little bit, like why they don't like, but it also kind of helps Brock Purdy. If they're not as efficient running the football, that means more third and long. That means more Brock Purdy, more of him having to onus, getting the ball downfield more and pushing it, through the air or via the air, using his legs a little bit more, where in other years he wouldn't be asked to do as much because they wouldn't need him to, because they'd be so good on the ground. But that wasn't really the case last year. They weren't as efficient. Christian McCaffrey wasn't as efficient as in normal years past, and maybe that will change. But like George Kittle is a huge piece to this, and he's coming off of an Achilles. Trent Williams is another year older. It's like, can he stay healthy? Because we've seen the splits when Trent Williams is on and off the field, right? So any of these like little things happen, like one of these guys goes out, it completely changes this team. And those are the weeks where Brock Purdy is potentially going to put up like a 40 ball.
Yeah, that was, you and I are basically, lockstep on that. And that was kind of the case I was making. I was on an island. So,
to be fair, I do not want to be on the island with you, but you are the correct side of
it'll
the
make
island.
you feel better that the rest of the rankings team did think that Caleb was the answer. So we, and obviously we are higher on Caleb than Brock Purdy.
Yeah, but I disagree. I just told you I disagree with the rankings team. I'm on your side for this one. See, you phrased the question in a way where you knew I was going to struggle to answer it. Is the funniest part.
I forgot that it was Caleb Williams that I made. I remembered I was trying to like make the case that we may be a little low on Brock Purdy, and I forgot that Caleb Williams was the comparison point.
That is funny. JSU is jealous. Scatterboo does a better backflip than I'm not. No, dude, Scatterboo's backflip is legendary. You know how hard it is to do backflips with like football gear on and stuff like that? Dude's a freak, man. That's insane.
Yeah,
Definitely not.
I'm pretty sure I'm
And then he
breaking my
does
neck
the
if I
then he
try that.
like gets low and does the whole like thing with his arms and bot. No, no, that is cool. See, that's why people love Scatterboo. He's a fun guy. I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. I like fun.
Yeah,
Now
my
you
wife
know
drafted Scatterboo on her work league last year, and I think she was close to crying when he got hurt.
she was close to Romeo Dobbs 131 I think is I think
Yep,
it's
we
a fair
definitely
click.
needed some receivers, and this is
Hey,
he's kind of in the same vein as like the DK Metcalf school of like, hey, he'll hit our lineup.
is did Malik Willis go?
He did. Someone took him like in the 120s,
Unbelievable.
unfortunately. I know. I wanted to see him pop up as top guy for you. I
Yeah,
was like pretty excited, honestly.
Chuck Wagon, too sharp, taking Malik Willis over here. So what do we have? So we're almost back up on the clock. 2 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 4 receivers, and no tight ends here. Rashad White goes.
Ah, sniped on Rashad White.
It looks like it's tight end season.
Yep.
Jake Ferguson.
Yeah, I would be Ferguson over Andrews here.
Okay. I'm fine with that. Honestly, I don't
think Ferguson's like so good as far as like how talented he is as a
I can see
football
both
player.
these guys not being good, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
So,
Andrews is the one that I am more concerned is currently washed. Jake Ferguson is not currently washed, but probably not super good. And
I,
Andrews was very good at one point, but is now hasn't been good for a little bit. Also pretty concerned he's washed.
I think the one good thing about Jake Ferguson is you do have that like upside if one of the top guys goes down, because that's when Jake Ferguson becomes a thing. We all remember like Jake Ferguson in the middle of that year. Was it CD went down? It was CD,
Yeah.
I think, went down. Jake Ferguson like had those crazy games where he was getting tons of volume. That's when he's good. But then when both guys are in and they're playing, Jake Ferguson's not as involved in the offense. He's not getting peppered as much in the passing game. So, like, you know, that's the thing with Jake Ferguson. If the offense stays healthy, he's probably not a good click. But you always have that upside of like, if one of those guys goes down, like he could just get, because the offense doesn't change. It's still pass heavy. It's still, they're still going to score points. So Jake Ferguson, I think, is at that point a decent click. It's and like he's still a little better than Juwan Johnson, but like he's closer to Juwan Johnson than people think if those guys stay healthy.
We
Is
did
pretty
come
much
up
my
on
point.
Jawan Johnson recently with the Jordan Tyson, missing a good chunk of the season. We do think that Jawan is a little more appealing now. So
Where do you think is a fair range for Jordan Tyson to go? Because I see him going all over the board. I've
yeah,
seen him go at 98, 103 today, 110 in this draft, 137 in our other draft. Wide range of drafting spots for him. Where do you think is a fair one, or like a fair round range?
yeah, I got him as top guy, I think at pick 143 in a big dog yesterday. And I've seen him around there. I think I got him in the like late 130s in a different draft today. I haven't seen a ton of him because I think people are clicking him before that. It wouldn't surprise me if the Sims liked him in the 120s occasionally, But so I'd say like probably somewhere in the 120s to 150, like early 150s is around where he would pop up as top guy. I've seen him in the 140s a couple times.
Felix says latest report on White is he's dealing with a hamstring, but not considered serious or long term. Okay, there you go. I haven't seen that yet, but I don't know who reported it, but that's what Felix Reyes says on Rashad White. Hopefully it's nothing, and we take the fall on that 137 in the last draft there. Let's see. If Andrews was washed, why did they let Likely go? Plus, Andrews has been a top ass guy 2 years before last year. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I think it could also be they didn't want to pay Likely. New coaching staff comes in, and they're going more towards 11 personnel stuff. But you could be right. Oh, look, Keenan Allen's here.
Here's Keenan, top guy.
There's Keenan.
Yeah, I mean, I think the burden of the proof is on proving that Mark Andrews is not washed, and I would say, show me, point to me in the metrics where Mark Andrews is not washed,
Yeah,
because
right.
average
Show it to
separation
me.
score is cool and all, but like, how about his yards per route run, or his targets per route run, or his route participation that's declined year over year? Like, anything that is like actually going to be predictive of fantasy success. Those are the metrics that I think we should be paying attention to, and I do think it's concerning that those have gotten worse year over year for Mark Andrews.
We got another. Sources said Tyler Warren abductor strain, but going to be fine.
Nice. That's basically right about. I would, based on what our leg up team doctor has told us, and what we've got in there for his injury currently, I think we've got it pretty well nailed. So I'd be very comfortable if he's top guy. I'd just take him as top guy, knowing that we've got the injury inputs correct.
All right. I'm going to IKB for the first time in this draft. And
yeah, this is like the exact spot that we talked about, right? Where it's
right.
like, hey, this guy's rising up. If you want to believe a little more in like bad stuff just can't happen for Jacoby Lane, or happens a lot less now for him just because of how good camp has been.
And I think this team needs someone where you need to believe that like he could just be the man. As much as I like Travis Hunter where he's going, I still am, a realist. And it's like, I don't think he's ever going to be the man for that team because they have so many guys there. I think it could be a committee. I just think he's going to have some spike weeks that we're just not going to know when. But like Jacoby Lane, I could sell myself on a world where he is the man. You know what I mean? He does score a bunch of touchdowns.
He's just the touchdown magnet for them.
He's the touchdown magnet. You know what I mean? Because no matter what people say, that's not Zay Flowers. Like they could throw it to him a little more in the red zone and stuff like that, but it's still not like necessarily his game. You know what I mean? That's not really it. Jacoby Lane, though, he could score 10 touchdowns. Like that's in the realm of possibility for someone with his game. So it's just, do you buy it? Like you said, I think with our team, we kind of sell that story real quick, but
yeah, I definitely, I think the Jacoby Lane pick is pretty fun here for us. Like Lamar has been pretty glowing in his reviews of him as well. So
yeah, dad knows. Big problem for the word fine. If you have a wife or girlfriend, that's not good. LOL. I literally said this to Neil yesterday. I've got a problem when these guys use the word fine. It's gonna be fine in quotation marks, Zach. I don't love it. I'm not a fan of the word fine. Okay. You know what fine actually means, right?
Yeah, I will rely on our team doctor, who definitely knows more about this stuff than I do, and we trust him to give us good insight on how serious
it
these
means though,
injuries
right?
are.
You know what it actually means, right?
I mean,
Fine.
I would assume not fine.
Feelings in need of expression.
Aha.
You like that, huh? I turned it
I have not heard that one before.
All right. Let's see. What are we at now? So we were behind on receiver. I feel like we kind of caught up a little bit.
We might be in our our 4 or 5 tight end bag here. This might be one of those.
I think we have to be in our 4 tight end bag. I think we definitely have to, because I'm not a Jake Ferguson bull. 2, 5, 6, 1. CD, Devin Achan, Javonte Williams, Jeremiah Love, Quinshon Judkins, Lamar Jackson, DK Metcalf, Blake Corum, Mekhi Lemon, Brock Purdy, Romeo Dobbs, Jake Ferguson, Keenan Allen, and Jacoby Lane here. The kick is saying tight ends, and it's got some of my favorite tight ends up top. TJ Hawkinson, not one of my favorites. I was joking.
Yeah, I I think he'll do in a pinch. You know, in the spot where we're at, it's about to get even worse than TJ Hawkinson. Oh, well, that's okay.
Oh my God, it's
I'm
gonna get worse.
hoping a little Charlie Kolar's in our future.
It's gonna get worse, people. I mean, does it get worse?
Dude, I would slam Omar Cooper here.
Slam Omar Cooper. I'm telling you, I feel really good about being right about Omar Cooper. I already feel vindicated, actually, to be
It's a
honest with
first
you.
round pick, and we're getting him at the end of the 16th or at the end of the 15th round. Like
It's the Jets. How many times do I gotta say it's the Jet? People are gonna be big mad when they just realize the Jets might just be Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson, and everyone else can just F off. Like,
yeah, I
people are gonna
mean,
be really mad if that's
Garrett
the
Wilson
case.
was also a first round pick on the Jets that people let us
Dude,
draft way
Garrett
too late.
Wilson is legit amazing.
Oh, you know,
He has
there's
to
no
deal with
comparison between Garrett Wilson and Omar Cooper Jr.
Yeah,
to be clear, but
there's none. But
I think the
Garrett,
market's overdoing it.
well, the market might be overdoing it. No, this is my problem actually. So the market was I personally think it was wrong in the beginning, and now it's probably taken it a little too far. And it should have been in the middle. And now it's kind of gone a little too far, maybe. And look, it says Kenyon Sadiq.
Yeah. And we had the injury stuff, you know, we've had the injury inputs in for him for a while. Like again, dude, so we just got the Jets 2 first round pass catchers here at the 15-16 turn. Like,
yeah, Cooper just went in the 18th in your draft. I'm telling you, it's because people take some of the videos and stuff way too far. We've seen really good receivers have bad camps and stuff like that. It happens to young guys. That's not my reason for not liking Omar Cooper. I don't care about what's the guy's name, Isaiah Williams or whatever, who's the third. That is in Sack. You know me, like I'm honest. Like, this has always been my take on Omar Cooper. I just think, like, why are we caring about he's the first? No, not the first option, not the second, not the third, not the fourth. Kenyon Sadiq's probably the fourth. Mason Taylor might actually be the fifth. They might just run a ton of heavy personnel, but let's just say he's the fifth. Why do we care about the fifth option on the Jets? Like, I don't get
I don't think he's
valuable.
the fifth option. I think if you made me assign like a probability to what, you know, him being the first option on the Jets, I think is like rounds to zero, you know,
0.
him being the second option on the Jets, I think is close to the plurality. If it's not the plurality, like, I don't think it's the majority. I don't think greater than 50% of the time he's the second option on the Jets. But I think second option on the Jets is probably like 30%. And then I think third option on the Jets is probably like 20%, you know, and then you've got the bad outcomes that live below that. But it's like, dude, if you're telling me that 50% of the time, or perhaps even better, because I feel like those are pretty conservative estimates, like 50% of the time I'm getting either the second or the third target on the Jets in the 16th round here, like, I don't know, man. I'll just take that. That seems good enough to me.
Yeah, I just don't like being invested in these bad teams. And I think I think we make the mistake with the Titans, the Giants, the Jets, and we'll learn again. We're going to learn again. Like, some of these guys, the rookies, everyone loves the rookies. And now Omar Cooper's not normal, because normally people love the rookies and they push them up. And that's not the case this year. Like, Mekhi Lemon fall, that wouldn't be in years past. Mekhi Lemon would be going closer to Carnell Tate, and Carnell Tate would be going closer to, honestly, Luther
He'd probably
Burden.
be in like the fourth. Yeah, he'd be in the fourth round. Yeah.
He'd be with Luther Burden. And Jordan Tyson would be like the fun guy that would be right next to them, to be honest. So it's very weird. You are actually technically getting values from years past on these wide receivers, if I'm trying to, you know, play your angle a little bit. Like, there is a world where these are just value picks compared to years past. Kind of like how we're saying Travis Hunter from years past. He's just a value. He was going in the 50s last year. Now he's 160. You know, that to me is a a value. I think Matthew Golden kind of fits the value thing. I know you guys don't like Matthew Golden, but I think he's another one. We're back up here. I don't mind Kate Otten.
Kate Otten's for us, for what we are looking at. Kate Otten's like ideal, you know.
Yeah, yeah, okay, I can do it.
He's
I
just
think
we're gonna get some other tight ends that are more fun than Kate
I
Otten.
thought Jeremy was a pretty good option just because.
Sims are in your head.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say we have DK. You know, maybe Pittman's. Was it a hamstring? What's he dealing with? Like maybe whatever he's dealing with. Like
Undisclosed.
oh, it's undisclosed. Okay, whatever he's dealing with, maybe it's a little more. And Jeremy has to play earlier than expected or something like that. Like
They are saying that both Pittman and Metcalf will be ready for
we'll
week
be
1.
ready. I did
So
see that.
sounds like they're just taking it easy. But
It
no,
still
I think
never like bodes well when they're like,
yeah,
yeah, both our starting receivers are
they're both
a little
fine.
banged up. Yeah, but they're fine. 100%. They're fine.
No, yeah, I think Jeremy's a pretty good click for us here. I do think that the difference between Kate Otten and then like the next tight end, Kate Otten was just like he's a little more safe than all the next guys, you know.
Yeah, he's better than the rest on the board.
And we're gonna have our fun with our other late tight ends. But yeah, I love Jeremy here.
I think Jeremy's the pick here. I was just gonna ask you, do you guys get any Bateman at all? Because he's not someone that I've been clicking.
We
but
got
just
him.
Of our team. I was wondering.
We got him for a bit. There was like a little stretch where we were getting him over Surratt and kind of with Lane. And then now that Lane has kind of jumped up, I think the way that we were playing it before the Lane like drum beat really started, it was, hey, one of these rookies will probably be a thing. So just mix them up, you know? And now it's like, we're pretty sure Lane is the thing, but I also don't think that it is curtains for Surratt. And so I think that it's like Rashad Bateman is the higher probability bet to be running routes and scoring fantasy points, albeit maybe not an impressive number of fantasy points. And Elijah Surratt is the lower probability bet, but has a higher ceiling than Rashad Bateman. If Rashad Bateman has the job all year, he does Rashad Bateman things. If Elijah Surratt wins the job, there's a chance Surratt is just good, and all of a sudden you have 3 pretty exciting receivers on the Ravens, and their receivers are just a lot more involved than they have been in the past, and it flows more to the receivers than the tight ends. And so I think that Surratt is like, hey, most likely a 0 man, but you have that upside of him where it's like, if I really needed help, if my wide receiver room was super sketchy, I'm probably Bateman. But if it's like, I've got a good enough wide receiver room and I'm looking for like, what's the thing where I could have this guy actually hit my lineup, he has to be able to project high enough to do that. And that's probably more Surratt.
You know, the more I think about it with Elijah Surratt, like his game and everything, I think it fits really well with Lamar. Like a zone beater. He's a big body. Lamar's going to have the mobility to, if he has to, create more time for him to find the spots in the zone to sit. Defenses play more zone in general now than man-to-man. He's not as much of a man beater, but that's okay where we're playing in, this day in the NFL. He kind of fits. I think he's going to end up fitting really well with them. I think he's going to end up, I don't know if he's going to play a ton this year, but I think he's going to end up being just one of those, like, he's solid, like nothing special, but he's just like, he's like kind of reliable.
Yeah. I think that's pretty reasonable.
But, I get why people are like, oh no, it's all Lane. He's the fun one. He's jumped out in camp. I just think Surratt is going to do some of like the boring stuff that'll get you like 10 or 12 fantasy points and hit your team a couple of times probably.
Yeah, I also think while I'm much more confident that Lane is a fantasy contributor than Surratt,
right?
It also is pretty early. We're through week 1 of preseason, like some rookies are going to develop faster than others. Like also Lane is the one I would expect to look the coolest and be doing the coolest stuff because he's a big body contested catch, like acrobatic kind of guy.
Right.
And Surratt's a little more ho hum,
Yeah, he's not that type of guy. We're up here. Whoa, Mike Gesicki.
Man, it's been a minute since I saw Mike Gesicki. I'm fine mixing
Whoa,
him in though.
Mike Gesicki. Okay, I see why. All our normal tight ends are gone.
And he does, he's our correlation with the
This
Ravens
draft,
in week 17.
yeah,
So
you guys aren't into Eric All, so we'll go
we
Mike
do
Gesicki.
have someone sent me a screenshot of Eric All Top Guy just the other day. So
Really?
he won't pop up a ton because I still think, Mike
I
Gesicki's
still
probably the
remember when I
favorite
said
down
Eric All,
four.
and you were like, I don't know about this.
No, we've moved on Eric All for sure.
Okay.
I mean, he's the reason we don't really get
Okay.
Gesicki anymore.
This is the first Kyle Williams I've definitely seen as a top guy.
Yeah,
I've never seen a Kyle
I don't
Williams
think I've
side.
got. Let me see if I have any Kyle Williams. Hang on.
Kyle Williams.
Kyle Williams. I have no Kyle Williams
I have
over
I have 0.
3,000 drafts.
I mean, I think Pop's a better pick than Kyle Williams.
I'm fine if you wanted to IKB to Pop.
Pop's gone.
Oh no,
Well,
he's in there as DeMario.
of course,
Yeah.
I typed in Pop. All right, donkey. Look at me, I'm a donkey. I actually just typed in Pop in there. All right, so and Surratt was gone too. I was wondering. I was like, there's another guy that I wanted. Where'd he go? Oh, here he went.
Yeah, right before us.
Damn. Okay. All right. Well, that is the full team here. So I'll read it off. We got a 2-5-9-4. Our running backs are fire here, but we got CeeDee Lamb. This is in the 11 spot in the $25 flagship. CeeDee Lamb, Devin Achan, Javonte Williams, Jeremiah Love, Quinshon Judkins, Lamar Jackson, DK Metcalf, Blake Corum, Mekhi Lemon, Brock Purdy, Romeo Dobbs, Jake Ferguson, Keenan Allen, Jacoby Lane, Omar Cooper Jr., Kenyon Sadiq, Cade Otton, Jeremy Bernard, Mike Gesicki, and Demario Douglas here to finish it off. Zach, what do you think of it? I feel like you like this one.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. Definitely some fun guys on here, some good values late. I think it would not be surprising to me to get to the end of the season and have some of these late guys that we took as flyers be contributors. Were pretty, you're scrolling through your DK app. It's week 15. You're like, ooh, this one's advancing. Let's take a look. You're like, oh, okay. This one's got Omar Cooper. All right, nice. Like there's a few like that where I think that by the end of the season, you're just happy to see those guys on. They might not be crushing, but you're like, okay, cool.
I got a question for you before we get off here. Is there one guy, because there has to be, who's the guy that you feel the biggest regret clicking a lot in the kick this year?
Let me look at my really high exposures.
I think this is a really interesting, because it's obviously not Omar Cooper. You're still buying the Omar Cooper juice, so it's not.
Yeah,
him.
like I'd obviously prefer it if things were going better for Omar Cooper.
No,
I'm not like,
I know
everything is great.
I know that, but you're not like buying it, so he's not an actual answer.
No,
I want someone who like you're actually like agreeing with the field, and you're like, I'm kind of like bummed I clicked him.
Mike Gesicki is. I wish I could give some of the Mike Gesicki shares back.
Yeah.
I got 18% Mike Gesicki. I wish those could go down a little bit. Let's see.
A good one.
The next one. I mean, this one doesn't really count. Like, obviously, I wish I could exchange my Chris Brazzell shares, but like that was an injury. That's going to happen.
That doesn't count either, because
many more of my guys will get injured this season. That is the way it goes. Let's see. As I keep scrolling, honestly, this feels like a good sign. I'm down to like guys that I have, 12% of, and I'm still not finding anyone I'm super regretful of. Oh, here's another one. Eli Stowers.
That was going to be the guy I was going to say.
I've got 11% of him. So it's like, we did get that. We moved down on him when it looked like, okay, hey, this is not and that's, I think there's a difference between like an Eli Stowers and an Omar Cooper, right? Where it's like Omar Cooper was one where it's like, it's not going in the way that we want right now, but we definitely are still leaving a light on for him. Eli Stowers, it's not going in the way that we want right now. And like, I would say Pat still thinks that you got to leave a light on for Eli Stowers. And in my most rational brain, I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't be like, this guy's dead, he never does anything. Like that's not rational. But
Right.
I'm rounding to this guy's dead.
Yeah.
So that's Gesicki and Stowers are probably the two that I'm the least I feel the least good about, that I have a decent chunk of exposure to. But honestly, scrolling through like that was a pretty good exercise to be like, man, we did pretty good this year. There's no one right now where I'm like, we're dead in
My
the water.
mine would be Eli Stowers and Tony Pollard. I
Yeah.
wish I could give back
How
the
much Pollard do I have? Let me see. I don't even think I have that much.
I
Yeah,
I think
14.5%
I
entry
was gonna
fees.
say I think I'm like 16% or
We have a
15%.
lot more on DK. I have only
He was kind of stuck in a range where if you needed a running back, it was only like him and like there was like Jalen Warren and that was it. And so like if Jalen Warren got sniped for me, like I have more Jalen Warren, but like they were like really the only two at that point
he's
if you
one
needed a
where
running back.
like if you let me I would he doesn't cross the threshold for like regret that he's on my teams. He's more of like the if there was a Tony Pollard exchange program where you like let me come and turn in a little. I don't even want to turn in all my Tony Pollard, but like
Right.
could I turn in like 3 to 5% of my Tony Pollard and you let me get like a little more Ramondre Stevenson, a little more Jalen Warren, maybe a splash of Rico Dowdle. Like if you let me do that, I think that's what I'd be okay with. But yeah.
So says what about Higgins? I only have like 2% Higgins and like super low dollar fee. Like I wasn't really clicking Higgins
And that's
and
the injury too. It's like, what are you gonna do?
yeah, there's nothing you can do about that anyway. That's just unfortunate. It's honestly, I'm lucky because I would have clicked more Higgins for sure. I like Jaden Higgins. I think he's a really good player, but Keaton Missile, Malik Willis. I'm just thinking of all the guys that are like some of my highest drafted guys on the board that go in that Jaden Higgins range that I was just always clicking Sack. And I think that's one of the reasons probably why Casey Concepcion goes in that range. It's just one of the reasons why I didn't really click Jaden Higgins.
Yeah, I've got the draft board view pulled up on the apps tool over at apps.legendaryupside.com where I can see my exposures kind of as a heat map.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the guys I was clicking over Jaden Higgins was Jake Ferguson,
Diggs,
uh, yeah, Aaron Jones, Diggs, obviously, his move now, but yeah, when he was there, I even like Malik Willis, Keaton Mitchell, Chris Rodriguez. I've clicked all those guys more than Jaden Higgins. Mark Andrews was clicking more than Jaden Higgins. Daniel
yep.
Jones. So like all those guys kind of in that range. Jaden Higgins was Higgins and Tyrone Tracy. I was basically 0% on for both of them and giving all that exposure to the other guys around him. So, but I don't think that's like
I have some Tracy, so I'm praying he gets traded or something.
I don't think he's as dead as the market is implying now,
I don't think so either, but
but he's also not someone I'm super excited to draft.
yes.
Um, but yeah, like if you told me I could take Tyrone Tracy in the 200s, I'm probably like lining up to do that. I'm probably pretty excited for it. But yeah, it's one where I don't really want to catch the falling knife, and I bet he
Right.
falls for a while. But it wouldn't shock me at all if it's the end of August, beginning of September, and we become the Tyrone Tracy people. Like I don't want to be the Tyrone Tracy people,
Yeah,
but
but at a certain point,
everybody's got a price.
you're in. Yeah, yeah. At a certain point, you're in. Um, yeah, this is a different question. Like, this would be like, like, your regret is not taking more neighbors. Yeah, like, who is the guy you regret not taking him where he was going? I think Malik Neighbors would definitely be that guy if you weren't clicking him. For some people, it might be like Debo. Obviously, not me and Sack because we were clicking him, but Debo Samuel fits this bill. Keenan Allen fits this. I kind of wish I clicked more Keenan Allen just because of his rise. Jacoby Lane. Like there's a bunch of guys that could fit this. Your biggest regret of not clicking, Zach.
The way I think through these questions is like more from a process standpoint, which is why I didn't say like, oh, Chris Brazel, because like from a process
Right.
standpoint, I felt good on that. But like the Mike Gesicki one, from a process standpoint, I feel like, we missed a thing where like he was more fragile than we thought. He was vulnerable to Eric All, and we didn't give that enough credit, and so
Mhm.
that's why that one wasn't as good. And then like Eli Stowers, I think also was more fragile. We were too fast to assume that just because he got really good draft capital, he'd be safer, right? And we
He'd be
should have
safe.
baked more fragility into there. So though that's the way I think through like what do I regret is process errors, because
Right.
no matter how hard we try to be as good as we possibly can and minimize, any mistakes in our inputs, but we're human, there will be a mistake. And
Yeah, but
so
you can't hit everything. You just hope that your hits are more than your misses is pretty much
yeah, I just
it.
want to be less wrong than the field. And so
Correct.
like from a standpoint of like who do I regret not taking as much, like on Malik Neighbors, I feel great about the process because the information that we had, like there was no reason to believe. I mean, we had these outcomes of him being back, ready for week 1, gonna play, like be awesome in the range of outcomes. We just had them as like a relatively small probability, and we had people that know, sports medicine and injury recovery much better than, you know, the vast majority of 99.9%
The
of
field.
people in the
The
world, you
field.
know?
We'll say the
Um,
field.
yeah, and so I felt really good about our process there, but, like, the ones where I feel like we missed on process, where I want more of them, let's see, like, where one that we're fading pretty hard, where it's like we probably faded too hard, like Chris Olave is one where I think the process was overly confident that everyone around him was better pick. Like, and I think that what it is we weren't so low on Olave. It's just that we liked all the other guys going there and didn't leave enough room for Olave to breathe, kind of in the way the inputs shook out. That's one where I feel like I could look back on that and be like, that was a process error. And I'm specifically thinking of like the way that we have the inputs for Olave. And I could see the one that I think is the most fragile, and that would be the way that we'd be wrong. Another one would be Lad McConkey. So that's how I think of this, is like from a process standpoint, where did we possibly miss and get a thing wrong? And like Chris Olave, Lad McConkey are two of my bigger fades where I could see the process having flaws or having
Right.
being too cautious on a thing or
Not
not
work.
being
Yeah.
optimistic enough on those guys. The other one, this one's like a little tough to swallow because I was the bull on this guy, and I like capitulated to the rankings team, but I was pretty high on Parker Washington, not higher than the field. We still would have, just to be perfectly clear, we would have faded the fuck out of Parker Washington even if we did exactly what I said,
Yeah.
because I think that process
But now you
would have been
guys are just
correct.
like you dug in too deep.
Well,
We're in
and
too deep
we've
now.
changed. Like we're much higher on Parker Washington than we started. We think he's the Jags wide receiver that'll score the most points this season.
Yep.
It's just the market has continued to steam the whole time with us, and so it's hard to catch up like that when you're already like, I think this was a little frothy, and it keeps getting frothier, even if you start to come correct a little bit more. So that's one where it kind of chaps my ass a little bit, because I'm like, man, I was like closer directionally to the market than we as a team were, but we still would have faded him. Like we weren't going to get to a point where we thought he was a great pick prior to the news and the drumbeat that we were getting. And so that's kind of the
Lit Listen, Neil, we started the show to try and get to the bottom of this. We did. At the start of the show, we
yeah, you
got
gotta rewind to the start. We
yeah,
litigated it. I mean, the way I see it is we were both the first, we were the first to enlist in the
we
Charlie Kolar
started
army.
this, okay? So everyone else followed us, okay?
Yeah.
That's the way I'm putting it. Is me and Zach started it. You brought it to the rankings team after we discussed it, and then you battled the rankings team, finally won. You beat Karain. You beat him down to submission where he just said, "Fine, I'll capitulate to the Charlie Kolar, the Kolar Bear." And now everyone's drafting Charlie Kolar because
Yeah,
of the
he
kid.
was in the Sims from the very first day of the contest launching, And then the day in which we had inputs in that seemed like he was reasonable to occasionally show up, like in the same way we saw Mike Gesicki here, we were like, oh, Mike Gesicki, like that was when Charlie Kolar could have been like that, where he pops up every once in a blue moon. That was like early May. And then we've got receipts from like late May where it's like, we gotta come up on this guy. And then beginning of June, I had some fucking bags packed by the beginning of June. So
Yeah.
looks like
yeah.
June 2nd is the first day that anyone drafted Charlie Kolar on DK. At least that I can tell. Enough that it moved the ADP, which moves pretty easy on DK. So
I wonder, I can see on my thing when the first time I clicked them was, right?
yeah, you can.
I'm going to have to go look. It's probably the same time you started clicking them.
I bet we were we might have been the two people that gave him an ADP.
We might have been, honestly. I don't know. We might have been. You more than me, but we definitely might have been the start of that. But
you do get the credit though for mentioning his name first on this show. You did bring him up first on this show.
I knew that me and you had this discussion. I knew we had this discussion. So and Neil was like, you got to figure it out. So I was like, Zach's gonna remember because he's smarter than me. He'll remember what it was, and you did.
But
you did.
This ain't a competition. We're right here, the captain and the engineer of the Kolar Express.
Yeah, it's not a competition. I just want everyone out there to know that me and Zach were the first ones to bring. So when you get mad about your Charlie Kolar exposure, okay, you can yell at both me and Zach. You don't have to yell at just me or just Zach.
Both of our heads can go on the pike.
Yeah, exactly. So all right, that's gonna do it here for the show. It was a fun show, guys. Appreciate you hanging out. Hit the like button whether you're watching on the Legendary Upside YouTube channel or the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. Thumbs up. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Appreciate you as well. Great show, guys. Love to hear it. Smash the like button as you leave and subscribe to the YouTube channels. Zach, anything else you guys got going on this week?
Yeah, you can check out Matt Irby had a good article over on running back Apex. Pretty good article for if you're doing, really anything fantasy, but it is geared towards redrafts. If you're getting ready for your home leagues, that's a good one. Check it out over at legendaryupside.com. Obviously, we got like 1 month left of best ball season, so check out the Sidekick. We also have the Kickstand, which is like a starter tier. If you're just looking for a draft tool to help you kind of be there, give you the bells and whistles of what your stacks are, your correlations, have the on the clock alert. That comes with the basic leg up package, so just $15 a month to get the Kickstand, and that also gives you access to the portfolio tool over there at apps.legendaryupside.com. And then, of course, if you want the whole thing with the Sims, that's the Sidekick. But yeah, hop in the Leg Up Discord. We're always there. Happy to support, answer questions.
Can I just say, if you're drafting a lot of teams, the portfolio tool is really freaking cool. Not gonna lie, it's great. It's great add to it. So
it's been very fun to go back and look at my old teams.
Yes, if you've been drafting all summer like we have, highly recommend getting at least getting the Kickstand and checking out the portfolio tool. Great add to kind of dive in and then just get lost in the portfolio tool for like an hour.
You can spend a lot of time.
My wife come down and be like, "You said you were coming up like an hour ago," and I was like, I'm still working." All right, we're gonna get out of here, guys. Appreciate everyone watching. For Zach, I am JSU. We'll see you guys next week for another edition of Inputs versus Instincts. Till then, we're out of here.